Ah, shit, hang on. There we go. I think that should be good. Let me just look. Oh, this is awkward. I haven't live streamed in ages. I don't even think anyone's gonna be watching this. I don't know. I'm trying to make sure that it's live before I like start doing anything. I'm just not sure about that. It says it is. Okay. Okay. I guess it is. That's good. Ugh, alright. Well, hi. I don't... I think I'm gonna just, like, tweet or whatever that I'm doing this, like, really quickly. I don't... I said, I have no idea if anyone's actually gonna be... Oh, there I am. I said, I have no idea if anyone's actually gonna watch this. I thought this might be fun. I wanted to start doing this a few hours ago, but uh, the people I live with were like out and up and about, and I didn't want to, annoy them, and I didn't want their like background noises to be in this. So yeah, it's a little late, but that's all right. Just 1 second. I don't. When the hell was the last time I streamed on YouTube? Like 5 years ago or something like that? Kind of a bitch. Come on. Is it just like not letting me post a link anymore? That's very strange. Hey God. If I can't get it, I can't get it. I'm not gonna... Oh, there we go. I mean, I know that Twitter's kind of... Actually, I know Twitter's kind of stupid about, like, links and stuff. But I'm gonna try it anyways. Maybe we can get a couple other people in here. And then I'm gonna start. I know, I haven't actually done anything yet. I need to get this going, too, because... Oh, again, it's not fucking... There we go. There we go. There we go. Okay. So I'm actually gonna start now, I think. Alright. So, uh, I'm, I watched like a shit ton of movies last year. I watched a lot. Okay, so I had two goals going into 2024. And when I say going into 2024, I mean, um, like, one of them I came up with in March. But my, like, resolution, I guess, that I made in the very beginning of the year was, I wanted to watch at least 200 movies. And then around March or so, I decided I'm gonna watch all the horror movies that come out this year. And part of that reason was part of the reason I decided to do that was because like the Dead Meat Horror Awards happened, and I watched it, and I was like, I watched a bunch of 2023 horror movies. I'm gonna know everything that gets nominated, and I didn't know most of them, so I was like, okay, next year I'm gonna try to know everything. And anyways, that's kind of like an impossible challenge because I realized that pretty quick because like I follow Bloody Disgusting on Twitter, and like every so often they're just like 50 new horror movies came out yesterday, and it's like, holy fucking shit, man. But I caught almost all of the ones that came out in the theaters. I think the only one I missed was, what was it called? The Exorcism. I think that was the only one that I missed. And I'm not sad about that. I did not hear good things about that one. I fully intended on watching it. And then we ended up getting a new refrigerator, and the repair people were like, you know how they say like they're gonna come between like 10 and 2? Yeah, they came at like 6, so I missed my movie. It's fine. I said I really don't care that I didn't see that one. I don't think I heard anything good about it. Oh, you know what I was gonna do? I was gonna actually make these uh portraits. There we go. So they're the actual posters. So these are not okay. So I watched about 230 movies, I believe, last year. Movies that I had never seen before. There was some repeats, that like of stuff that I I rewatched, but these are specifically ones that came out last year. Some of them are um some of them are like movies that premiered earlier. Like a couple of them premiered at festivals like a year or two ago, but they got their wide release last year. And a few at the end I didn't watch until this year, 2025, but they're 2024 movies, so I decided to count them. Yeah, I've only got so much time on this earth. I can't catch everything, but I, that I don't think I did bad. I think there's 80 80 something. I'm not it might be 85. I think it's 85. So I saw 85 movies, and I am curious about like what like my top 10 bottom 10 is, cuz I didn't figure that out yet. I wanted the year to be good and over before I decided that. Like, people were putting out their best and worst lists in like the middle of December. And like I think that's crazy. I understand that December is like the best time for ad revenue, and if I was smart, I would have put a video out in December. I didn't because I'm not. But yeah, I understand why people do it. And also people tend to stop giving a shit about the previous year once the new year starts. So, like, the best time to get your lists out if you want the most amount of people to click on them would be right before the year ends. I understand that. But, like, from the perspective of actually trying to capture the best and worst of the year, wouldn't it make sense to wait until the year's over so that you can see as much as you possibly can? Nobody's going to see everything. I haven't seen everything. A lot of the stuff on here is like indie stuff that I'm sure nobody gives a shit about. Except for me. Like, there's definitely like two on here that like I'm probably the only person on earth who watched them. And that's fine. Like, I also didn't watch a lot of the big ones. If you want to see me talk about like Deadpool and Wolverine or like Dune 2, I'm sorry, I didn't watch them. I didn't watch the first Dune, and like I just like don't care about superhero movies. I tried to get into superhero movies in college, but I couldn't. I tried really hard, and it just didn't work out. So I just like didn't even bother. I didn't see Twisters either. I was going to, like, my sister and me and her fiance, we were gonna go to like, I don't know, like a 40 showing of it, and then it just didn't happen. Didn't work out. But yeah, so this is all the stuff that I did see. A lot of it's horror, but some of it's not. And I'm gonna run through it really quick, I think. And I say really quick because last year I tried to record a video where I did something like this. It wasn't just the 2023 movies. It was movies that were like everything that I had watched in 2023, like everything, regardless of what year it actually came out. And it came out to like 90 something movies, and it was it was bad. I was like, because I remember they were in alphabetical order. I was 2 hours into it and I was still on B. So I'm gonna try to not do that. I guess to start it off, I did notice a couple patterns this year. Red, like a lot of red posters, especially with horror movies. I don't know how obvious it is here, but like if you were to like line a lot of these up, a lot of the horror movies up, you'd be like, there's a lot of red ones. a lot of like lesbians and queer women. I actually I shouldn't say a lot, but like more than you'd probably expect. Like there was a bunch of times that I was like in a movie and I was just like, oh my god, wait, there's like lesbians in this. Like it happened like 3 or 4 times. Um, what else? I don't know. There's just like there was like a lot of like oh, pregnancy. That's what I was thinking because there was something I was thinking of. I was like, yeah, there was like a horror thing. What was it? Yeah, a lot of pregnancy horror. Like if I had a nickel for every time there was pregnancy horror this year, I'd have like 5 or 6 nickels. Like it kept happening. Uh, I don't know. And there was also like a lot of like repeats. It was like like this movie it is just like this other movie that happened a few times. I will point that out when it happens. Um, but yeah, otherwise I'm gonna try to get through this. I like I said, I think maybe 85. And again, a lot of it's like indie stuff, so my apologies if you don't care about any of this, but I don't know. I thought this would be fun. I I hope anybody watching is having fun. Okay. So the first one is Night Swim. I saw that one on a date actually. They really wanted to see it. I had no interest in seeing that movie. um I I did not like it. It was not good. It's based off of a short. It's and I saw the short. It's on YouTube. It's actually a really good short. It's spooky. It's also it's 2 minutes. It's a 2 minute short. Surprise, it doesn't really work for an hour and a half movie. Like the short doesn't really have a story. It's just like this woman is swimming in the pool and then she when she's underwater, she thinks that she sees like her boyfriend standing at the edge of the pool, but when she comes out, there's no one there. And then there's a demon, and then she like disappears, and then that's it. That's literally the whole thing. There's no story. So when they tried to put a story in, it was like the most batshit. I don't even know if I'd say it was bad shit. It was like unintentionally funny. Like there's this part like it's kind of like The Shining a little bit where like the dad gets possessed and like the pool possesses the dad because the pool's actually a wishing well and then the dad's got I don't remember what he has. He's got like a disability. I don't know if it was a oh, I don't remember what it was. Was it MS? He had something where he was like a famous baseball player and he was like slowing down and he just wasn't able to do it anymore. The pool was magical, so it gave him his like baseball abilities back. It made him healthy again. But he also like became evil and was like trying to drown the son because the pool required a sacrifice. It was nuts. But like it wasn't good nuts. Like I can't really say I had fun. You know, like the dad just had so many lines that were just unintentionally funny. This was one of those there was a couple this year where I got genuine joy out of watching like horror YouTubers like make fun of it. Like those videos I think are very funny. Because it's true, the movie's just batshit insane. But like it's not good. Like it had like ideas that could potentially be good, I guess. But like it just didn't work out. The only part that I liked was there was like this whole thing where like the father had like this like really beautiful story about how you know when his wife was giving birth to his daughter he was on the field and he managed to strike somebody out or whatever and but then the mom finally tells her version of the story where she was giving birth by herself and I don't know, I liked that. I thought that was like I I don't know. It's just I wish it doesn't save the movie. It's just I kind of like the whole like yeah, let's not forget that the mom was pushing out a baby while the dad was having this like beautiful moment in front of 1,000 people or whatever. Like that part of it was good, but that was like maybe 2 minutes out of the whole movie. The rest of the movie was dog shit. So it's going in the F category. So, yeah, obviously very strong starts. Um, Fortunately, the second one's better. Stop motion. I I remember. So this one's one of those that I think is technically a 2023 movie, but I believe, if I remember correctly, it got its wide release in February of last year. Because I remember I was visiting my friend and I was kind of just like looking at movies, and I was like, "Oh my god! Like this movie that I heard about on Twitter is in theaters. I gotta go watch it." Um, it's decently good. I feel like haven't seen a lot of people talk about it. Um, I don't know. It's like about a stop motion animator, and like she's having problems. Like the way I kind of took away from it was that she wasn't used to making her own decisions because her mom kept telling her what to do, and then her mom was like in a coma, and then so she kind of like made up a little girl to tell her what to do, and that kid was, I think it was a supposed to represent her inner child, but the kid kept just recommending like more and more fucked up shit. And yeah, it escalates, and I mean, it is definitely kind of like a cliche, like, the letting your obsession run away with you kind of movie. But I enjoyed it. I thought it was gross, which, like, gore doesn't really affect me that bad. I think I mentioned this movie in the Terrifier video, actually, as one that, like, grossed me out. Because, like, she I don't remember what happened to her leg. She hurt her leg at one point, and then she wants to put some, like, actual human meat into her stop motion dolls, her little stop motion figures, whatever you want to call them. And so she starts like digging into her leg and like yanking out her muscles, and it's so gross. Like that actually like affected me like really badly. Like it was disgusting. And the also, this isn't like relevant to the movie itself, but I was in a theater full of children. Like I legit thought that I walked into the wrong theater. Like I thought I walked into a kids movie. Cuz there was like a bunch of little kids. And oh, hold on. I think something just... Hang on, I'll be right back. Sorry. So, like, my, like, recording area's in the basement, and I just heard, like, the furnace start to make noises, so I was like, let me try and, stop that. I don't know if it's gonna... I don't know if what I did helped. We're just gonna have to see. Anyways, yeah, but I was in a theater full of children. I thought I walked into a kids movie. I do not know why there was so many kids. There was like they were like little kids. They were like toddlers. They were screaming during the leg scene. Like they were like screaming bloody murder. Like and it's like, yeah, me too, honestly. Like it was very traumatic. I don't know. Like I'm not opposed to kids watching horror movies. It's just those kids were having a really bad time. Those kids are gonna have trauma. Anyways, I'm gonna give this one a B. Listen, it was fine. It wasn't anything that like, I don't know, that crazy good, but like I enjoyed it. It grossed me out. Oh, it has a lot of stop motion in it. So I mean, like if you like I thought that was cool that there was just like stop motion segments. Hi, Tori. Welcome to the live stream. Okay, oh, this is gonna take forever. I need to not spend so much time on all of them. Okay, you know what? I don't really have that much to say about Lisa Frankenstein. I didn't really like it that much, and I don't really know why. I guess it is kind of like one of those things where it's like you either vibe with it or you don't, and I didn't really vibe with it. I don't know. It just like wasn't my thing. I also did miss what I think was the climax. I have the worst timing when I go to the bathroom. I literally like went to the bathroom and came back and like she was covered in blood. And I was like, what the fuck? So, I think her like crush's dick got ripped off because I did Google it when I got home and to try to figure out what happened. The only thing I really I remember liking about Lisa Frankenstein was like the sister character and like that relationship that she had with her. It kind of reminded me a little bit of like something in my real life, and I I did appreciate that aspect of it. I liked it, but I didn't really like the movie overall. Like it's not one that I ever really have any interest in watching again. It's just like I said, not my thing, not my vibe. I'm sorry. I've seen people say it's basically like a modern cult classic. I don't know if that's really something you can say like right after a movie comes out. I feel like that's something that is determined through time because you could have a really quirky movie and then it just never gets an audience like ever. Like, but I mean, I do know people like Lisa Frankenstein, so maybe it is a modern cult classic. I have no idea. Um, okay, so Faceless After Dark is the one I talked about it in the Terrifier video. Jenna Cannell from Terrifier made it. It was her and oh god, I can't remember the name of the guy. She co-wrote it. I think his name was like Raymond Wood or something like that. He was at the showing that I went to. He did like a Q&A. He seemed cool. I can't remember. I think his name is Raymond Wood. It's the one where this is the movie where like she's an actor who was in a clown slasher movie, and and then like a hyper fan breaks into her house dressed like a clown. I didn't I chose not to spoil it in the Terrifier video, but like you know what, I'm just gonna do spoilers on this because like whatever, like I'm breaking it. So this has like a huge twist, like maybe a fourth of the way through. I don't, maybe it was halfway. I don't remember quite exactly where the twist was, where the guy that like broke into her house gets defeated like immediately. Like she just like kicks his ass, and he takes his mask off and he says like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Please don't kill me. Like here's my phone. Call the police. I'm sorry." And she kills him anyways. And then she goes on like a killing spree of all the people that have ever harassed her. And on one hand, it's kind of awesome. Like, that is a really fun twist, and I really like it. But it does get to the point where it's like, she's just choosing random assholes on Instagram and killing them in, like, the most horrible... Sorry. Yeah, but she's just, like, choosing random ass people on Instagram that are being, like, homophobic and burning them alive. And to be fair, I think you're not supposed to agree with her at that point, but that still was a little bit, I don't want to say it was much for me. I think I'm just like sensitive to burning stuff, but I was just kind of like, okay, wow. But I don't know, it was good. The main character wasn't, I mean, I liked her, I sympathized with her, but there was like little parts where like, you know, like there was a fan early on in the movie that was super nice to her, that was like trying to be supportive, and then later on when she's killing a guy, she starts like, I don't know, like making fun of that fan, and I just thought that was kind of a bit, I don't know, bit too mean-spirited, all considering. Like, it gives off the impression that she doesn't like any of her fans, which I don't know. I wasn't sure how I felt about that, but I mean, I'm also not famous. I don't know if I have anywhere to speak on that, but that kind of I thought was odd. I don't know though. It was a good movie. Like, I don't really have any major complaints, but like I also don't know if I could say like I love it or anything. I love aspects of it. I think the twist is great. Jenny Cannell's acting is really good. I'm gonna give it a B though. I am gonna try to order these. So I don't know how people usually order them. If it's like, I think you're supposed to put like the best one in the front. But like, I don't know. I always kind of like, I think of it like B minus and then like B plus, like up here. So I think I'm gonna leave it. I think I'm gonna leave it like this. Like this one's just more like unpredictable and more of like an interesting story than stop motion. So I think I'm gonna leave it like this, where it's it's higher than it. Drive Away Dolls. I think this was my first introduction to Margaret Qualley. She's in a few other movies on this that I watched. And I remember seeing like the trailers for it, and I thought it looked like a lot of fun. And I ended up not really liking it that much. I saw it with my mom and my sister, and there was like a lot of lesbian sex in it, like a lot. And I didn't really give that big of a shit, but I know my mom and my sister were a little bit like, okay, so we just watched like 50 sex scenes in a row. I don't know. It's funny because I do kind of look back on it and go like, you know, that movie really wasn't that bad. Because I remember people didn't like it. And I didn't really like it either. But for some reason, I do kind of look back on it like, you know what? Like, I kind of enjoyed it. I remember the twist. I saw this one so long ago, and I don't remember that much about it. The twist was like they thought that they were transporting, I think, money or weapons, and then it turned out they were transporting a dildo that was in the shape of a senator's dick. Honestly, it might be one where, like, if I watch it again, I might think it's a lot funnier, because I don't remember thinking it was funny. But, like, I don't know, when I say something like that out loud, it's like, that sounds like it should be funny. Or at least, I don't know, something. Yeah, some of these I'm gonna be like, I haven't watched it in like 6 months. I don't remember. I'm gonna put it under C. Like, I feel like if I had ranked it like right after I watched it, it probably would have got put into D. But like, I don't know. For some reason, when I look back on it, and I'm just like, oh yeah, like it was pretty good. Okay, so Imaginary is going in F. That's the weird teddy bear horror movie. It's I liked it better than Night Swim. I don't really know why. I don't know. I feel like Imaginary was trying to be funny on purpose. Like, it definitely had more of a sense of humor to it. But, like, Jesus, it was not good. I do remember thinking at one point when they went into the imagination land and you could see inside characters' heads, I was like, oh my god, like, are we gonna do something weird and psychological and, like, see the character's innermost thoughts? Like, no, of course it didn't do anything interesting. And that did kind of piss me off. I was like, you could have done something really interesting once you went into the imagination world, and you didn't. And the imagination world wasn't even that imaginative. It was just like a hallway with a bunch of doors. There was one singular kill in that movie, and it was off screen. Like, it's just, like, there wasn't anything fun about it. I was just kind of, it sucked. I don't know. But I liked it slightly more than Night Swim, so I'm gonna leave it like that. Love Lies Bleeding is, like, the better version of Drive Away Dolls, because it's also lesbians having, like, freaky lesbian sex. It's got Kristen Stewart in it. I can't remember. I think the other actress is Katie O'Brien. It's kind of a horror movie. It's like horror adjacent. It's more horrific than Drive Away Dolls. I think Drive Away Dolls was supposed to be more of a comedy, and Love Lies Bleeding is like horror adjacent. It was good though. Love Lies Bleeding was good. It was like, I must have been watching it with a bunch of lesbians or something, because when Katie O'Brien, I think her name was, there was like a whole scene where she was working out, and I just heard a lot of women like gasp. And you know what? Like, honestly, yeah, like she's really fucking buff. I don't know. It was good. It was I just remember how badly I was rooting for them to get out of it, but also kind of aware of the fact that like it was a unhealthy relationship, and it was also an unhealthy relationship in Drive Away Dolls too. But I feel like the movie didn't realize it was. Whereas in Love Lies Bleeding, it seems like that was the point, that it was an unhealthy relationship, because the characters kept getting themselves into unhealthy relationships, and um, yeah, I don't know. It was just, oh, also like the ending where like one of the characters like grows to be like 20 feet tall. I kind of I didn't know how I felt about that at the time, but then I watched Rose Glass's other film, Saint Maud, which by the way rattled me more than any other movie I watched this year. That movie rattled me so fucking bad. Like I was so like, I think that movie actually traumatized me. I watched that on my birthday. That was a bad decision. Um, but she uses elements of like, uh, I don't know, fantasy, I guess you could say, where it's like things get exaggerated to sort of express the character's emotions. So I like the fact that the character suddenly got big better now, because I feel like I understand what she was going for with that. Like, I don't know, like I feel like the first time I watched it I took it literally, and then after watching Saint Maud I was like, oh, okay, this is just a stylistic thing. um so this is, I think, gonna be our first A movie. Okay, so something interesting that happened this year is Immaculate and The First Omen came out maybe uh a couple weeks apart. I don't remember quite, like, I I don't, yeah, it was maybe a couple weeks, a month at the most. They came out very very close together, and they are basically the exact same movie. They're about a nun who goes to an American nun, I should specify. It's an American nun who gets sent to a nunnery in Italy. I believe they're both in Italy, and and then they get like impregnated against their will. And although in Immaculate she gets impregnated with our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, and in The First Omen she gets impregnated with Damien. She gets impregnated with the Antichrist. So in that way, they're opposites. But yeah, it's like the exact same premise. I remember I watched The First Omen and I was just sitting there, and like the first 15 minutes I was like, isn't this literally just the plot of a movie I just watched like 2 weeks ago? I'm just gonna talk about them together, I guess. And the thing is that I don't think anybody thought that The First Omen was gonna be good, because it is a prequel to a 50-year-old movie. I didn't watch The Omen until earlier this year, like maybe a couple weeks before I saw The First Omen, and I really liked it. It was good as hell. It was funny because I knew a lot of the stuff that happened in it, I guess just through cultural osmosis. The only thing that really super surprised me about that movie was the jackal. Like, that, like, I don't know, I, like, flipped the fuck out when they opened up the coffin, and there was a jackal in there. I, like, lost my shit. So, I was kind of a little confused going into The First Omen, because I was like, how the fuck are you giving birth to Damien? I thought a jackal gave birth to Damien, because that was, like, part of the twist of that movie, was that a jackal had given birth to him. So how the fuck are you giving birth to him? And you know what? They kind of retconned that. I'm not even entirely sure what happened. They took out my jackal, and I will forever be holding that against them. But I will say that in every other way, The First Omen is a lot better than Immaculate, and that is so shocking, because Immaculate is, like, I don't know if it was an indie movie, but it was like an original movie. Like, it wasn't connected to any franchise, and it was, for all intents and and it was, you know, for all intents and purposes, it was a passion project. Like, Sydney Sweeney had been trying to get it made for like 10 years. So I was really thinking that, like, oh, like, out of the two, like, Nun movies coming out, like, Immaculate's gonna be the better one. But I just didn't like Immaculate. Like, I don't even really know what to say. It was beautiful. Both of the movies were beautiful. But I feel like I remember the imagery in the first Omen better. Like, there's a hand that comes out of a vagina in the first Omen. But, I mean, that's not really, like, beautiful. Like, but, like, there's a scene where she wakes up and I believe there's like a spider on her eyelashes, and then it kind of zooms out and she's lying on the bed, and like her hair is like kind of like around her. It's hard to explain, but it's such a beautiful shot, and that's always the first thing I think of when I think of that movie, just how pretty it is. And like I feel like I care more about the characters in the first Omen. Like Immaculate, I don't know what it was. I think the pacing was too fast. Like it just felt like I didn't have time to get to know anybody or care about anything. Whereas like I don't know, like the first Omen, like they must have nailed the pacing because like did come out of it caring a lot. The only complaint I really have about the first Omen was I really do hate when movies that are like prequels or sequels or whatever to movies that are decades old start just heavily referencing it. You know, there's like a part where a lady basically okay, so like in the original Omen, there's a like the first nanny like hangs herself, and it's like a really fucked up, disturbing scene. Like I knew that was coming because that's like one of those movie moments that are often like referenced, but like it still was kind of shocking when it happened. And they basically did it again, but they tried to like up it by like having her also light herself on fire, and I thought that was just really stupid and lame. Like I didn't like that at all. And then like once the end happened, they were like, oh yeah, like we're just gonna start like, you know, we're gonna start tying this into the original movie now. I didn't find that as interesting as all the other parts. And then it has like a Marvel movie ending where I don't even remember who it was. One of the priests shows up at like her house, and he's just like, oh, you know, yeah, like your son's still alive, and he's being raised by the ambassador. His name is Damien. It was like a Marvel movie ending. That was so goofy. But like everything that is just original about the first Omen that doesn't really have anything to do with the Omen, which is most of the movie. It's like 90% of the movie is fantastic, and I loved it. So I'm gonna put the first Omen in A, and then I'm gonna probably put Immaculate. I don't know. It's either gonna be a high D or a low C. I'm gonna just do low C, because I don't know, like, I don't think it was, like, bad. I didn't walk out of it going, like, that was bad. It's just, I don't know, the first Omen was just so much better. It, like, completely overshadows it. Okay, Late Night with the Devil. This is the AI movie. This is the movie that used that AI skeleton. And it looks like shit. And I really don't even have that much to say about this movie because it's just, I didn't find it super interesting. Like, I was kind of into it when I was watching it, and then, like, after it happened, or after it was over, I should say, I was just kind of like, oh yeah, that was it? Like, like, that's all that happened? I don't know. It would have worked really well as a short, like on VHS, like in the VHS series. It would have worked really good as a short. I just don't know if it worked as a full-length movie. I feel like they were setting stuff up that didn't get paid off. Like, there was this whole thing where they're like, oh, yeah, like, we got, like, a surprise or whatever. Like, the producers. I don't believe that ever paid off. The, like, reveal that his ghost wife was there was really shitty. It didn't, like, it lied about being a found footage movie. I'm not even sure if it said it was found footage in the marketing. I guess we all just assumed that it was. But then they were kind of like, oh, yeah, like, this is all like behind the scene footage where it didn't look like behind the scene footage. It wasn't anything that anybody would ever film. Um, and then, the whole like last 10 minutes of the movie is also like a dream sequence. So yeah, it's not a found footage movie. And something about that I found kind of disappointing, because there is something really cool about like, oh, it's a movie, but like it's a broadcast. And I guess the best thing I could say about Late Night with the Devil is it helps me discover the movie Ghost Watch. I don't even know if that counts as a movie. That thing that happened in like 1992 where like the BBC pretended to get like taken over by ghosts. That was so cool. Like, if I was ranking that'd be an S. I loved that. It was genuinely actually really scary. But yeah, Late Night with the Devil. I guess I'll put it below Immaculate. I guess. Oh, what's like? Oh, I was gonna point it out earlier. You know what's cute is that Monkey Man and The First Omen have like the exact same poster. They're like siblings. It's so cute. So I really liked Monkey Man. Like, I don't really like action movies that much. Like, there's one on here that like is objectively a good movie. It's just it didn't really work for me. I'll get to it when I get to it. But Monkey Man like did. And also don't ask me why I watched it if I don't really like action movies. Jordan Peele was attached to it, and I don't know. I just wanted to go to the movies that night. Sometimes I like to get out of my comfort zone, but I liked it. It kept my attention really well. I thought the story was really heartbreaking. He makes a bunch of friends that are like transgender women and they kick ass. I thought that was really fun. I wasn't expecting that. Whenever I think of this movie, I think of that part where he's got like a knife in his mouth, and he like is like he's got like a guy pinned to the side of like an elevator, and he puts a knife in his mouth, I believe, or maybe the guys they're fighting. Somehow a knife ends up in his mouth. I don't remember quite how, and he's like slowly forcing it into his neck. And I don't think I explained that right. It was cool as hell, though. Like, I really, like, I think about that part sometimes. I don't know. I'm gonna give it, like, an A-. Plus, I kind of wanted to be next to The First Omen because the siblings have to stick together. Sting. Okay, so there was 2 spider movies that take place in apartment buildings this year. Like 2 movies where spiders take over an apartment building. And they came out like kind of close together. I thought it was funny. I was jokingly calling this year the year of the spider. So that would be Sting and Infested. And Sting is basically like one big spider, and then Infested is a bunch of little spiders, like hundreds of little spiders. And granted, some of them get to be big. I don't think any of them get to be as big as Sting, though. There's one at the end that's like the size of a car, and how fucking big was Sting? I feel like Sting was like really, I don't know. The point is that one has one big spider and one has a bunch of littler spiders. It also Infested is French. I get it being French is relevant because there's this whole section of the movie where the characters just decide, yeah, we're gonna feed the entire police department to the spiders. And like I saw people complaining about it, but like I don't know, isn't that just something the French do, that they hate the police? Sting. Okay, so out of the 2, Infested is definitely better. I was definitely more invested in Infested. Sting, like, just felt kind of half-baked. Like, there was, like, this story with the family, and I did kind of get invested in that story a little bit, but then it just kind of ended. Like, nothing happened with it. The trailer made it look like it was gonna be a little bit like Labyrinth, like the teenage girls like, oh, I hate my baby brother, and then the spider takes the brother, and then she has to go save him. I don't know if Labyrinth is a good um is a good comparison, but like that's what I thought of. Like she has to go get her brother back after he gets kidnapped, and no, not really. That didn't really happen. I don't know if that was like false advertising or like whatever, but I don't know. Also, if you are like sensitive to animals dying, like do not watch Sting. Like holy shit. Like that was like actually really gruesome. Like I think it was just puppets, which I like. Don't get me wrong, like I love when they use practical effects. But wow, I was not expecting to see like a cat melted by a spider. Like it was actually like really fucked up. I was completely alone in that theater, I remember. So I think I did kind of let myself have some audible reactions. And I do think I might have said that's fucked up out loud. I kind of remember that. Um as I don't know. The only other thing I got to say about Sting is that the opening scene of it is like really good. It's like a little short. Like if it was just the short, I would be like that was amazing. That's like 10 out of 10. Like that's hilarious. It's really darkly comedic, but I don't know. The whole movie's just kind of eh. Um yeah, I guess that's good. And I talked about Infested too, so I'm gonna put Infested. It's yeah, separate the twins. Hey everyone, how you guys doing? I'm gonna be doing this forever. Oh my god, I got so many of these. Uh, okay, so what do I got? Okay, I barely remember Arcadian. I barely remember it. I remember the creatures were weird. Like they turned themselves into big balls and started rolling around. And I think their mouths were in their stomachs. And their screams sounded like machine gun firing. Like that's pretty much all I remember. Nicolas Cage was like a cute dad. Like there was a scene where he was teaching his sons how to drive. I literally don't really remember anything else about this movie. Uh low C. We're gonna give a C minus because I liked the fact that Nicolas Cage was a cute dad, and the creature designs were at least interesting. But like I said, I barely remember it. So Abigail was one where I barely. Okay, no, I liked it when I saw it, but like I didn't love it, and I'm still not sure if I do love it. I feel like I was maybe a little disappointed, mostly because I don't like the ending. It I feel like it falls apart in the last 20 minutes. Like once they find I don't think I'm the first one to say this, but once they find that secret doorway, I feel like the movie just goes off the rails. Like it doesn't work. It doesn't work for me. I rewatched it a few months later with one of my cousins, and she was saying, "Oh, I really liked the ending because I felt like it was setting up an extended universe." I don't really care about that. Like, apparently Abigail takes place in the same universe as Ready or Not. Like, I don't really care about that. These should still work as contained movies. And for the most part, Abigail did. Like, it's a dumb movie, but like it's fun. It's a fun movie. But like one of the characters turns into a vampire, and then he's just like, I'm gonna turn you into a puppet and make you murder your son. And it's like, where the hell did that come from? Like, he was a dick, don't get me wrong, but like, he wasn't that big of a dick. I don't know. Like, it kind of lost me at the end. But I mean, like I said, it was really fun. I enjoyed it. I am not really one of the people that was bothered by the fact that they spoiled the twist in the marketing. I don't believe it was ever supposed to be a twist because I remember before the trailer got released, seeing like articles of Bloody Disgusting being like, "Oh, Radio Silence is making a movie about Dracula's daughter that's a ballerina." So when I saw that trailer in the movie theater some months later, I was like, "Oh, that's that movie I read the article about." I didn't really think anything of it. So I mean, it's hard to say if it would have been better if they hid that. Maybe, but it didn't really bother me that much. Um, I kind of want to give Abigail a I kind of want to give Abigail an A, like a low A, just because I had fun with it, and that's, this is my personal list. I had a good time. I liked it a lot. I just kind of wish maybe the ending was neater. That's not the right word. I just felt like it was messy at the end. It kind of went off the rails in a way I didn't like. But the rest of it was really good. Yeah, that works, I guess. Yeah. I don't know. Why am I like shoving Monkey Man down? But like, I don't know. I don't know if I want to put Abigail last. That's fine for now. Um, Okay, challengers. So let me just say, I don't give a shit about sports. I have never watched tennis in my entire life. I thought this movie was fantastic. I genuinely really liked it. I, they got me invested in that last match. I have never been invested in a sports game in my entire life, but I was on the edge of my seat during like the last 10, 15 minutes, however long that was. It was amazing. It like I I don't know. I think people should watch this movie. Like, I recommend it to people, and then they're just like, "Isn't that the movie with the sexy tennis?" It's like, yeah, but it's good. It's good sexy tennis. Like I, like I just I don't know how else to say it. They got me invested in watching a sports game. That is like a huge deal. Like I cannot. I get so bored with sports. But they did the impossible. A plus. Maybe I could put it in S. Something's holding me back from putting it in S though. I don't know what. I'm gonna leave it an A plus. That feels right. Like A plus feels right. Okay, so I saw the TV Glow. I need to watch this director's other movie. I just haven't yet. I fully intended to, and I didn't. It's a trans allegory. I didn't really go into it with a lot of expectations. It wasn't what I thought it was going to be. I'm trying to think. There was like one sequence like in the middle that was actually kind of fucked up, like, it's scary. It was the whole like it was like the last episode of the show where like Mr. Melancholy is like burying them alive and all that stuff. Like, I thought that was legitimately pretty scary. And then like the ending is just like heart wrenching. Like, this is one where I liked it, but like the more I sit with it, like it just like it hurts me to think about. And I'm obviously not like, I'm not like one of the people that can like relate to this super well. Like, I'm not trans, but I mean, like, I'm gay and there's a gay character in it, and like I do in some ways understand it, the whole thing of like, pushing yourself down, and also like, I don't know, watching a TV show or something, or like a movie or something, and just seeing yourself in it. And that's the first time that you ever feel like you actually ever saw yourself. And I don't know, it's good. It's a good movie. I'm gonna put it above Challengers. I'm gonna put it as A plus. Again, I don't know why I don't want to put it in S. S is like exclusive. Which is funny because I think the next one might go with S, which I think is gonna be really okay, so The Coffee Table is definitely the most fucked up movie from this year. And I know that some people who probably never heard of it would probably be like, what, like, but like, didn't Terrifier 3 come out? It's like, yes, but I, like, The Coffee Table, okay, I'm gonna, like I said, I'm spoiling shit in this. This is a, like, okay, I kind of guessed what this movie was about before I watched it. The reason I found out about this movie is because Chelsea from Dead Meat tweeted at some point saying that she picked it out for movie night, and the movie was so fucked up and it was so taboo, and that she wasn't allowed to pick anything for movie night ever again. And that instantly made me really curious. And I Googled it, and it was kind of like, I don't know, like, I couldn't really find a lot of information on it. There wasn't really a Wikipedia summary, I don't think. At one point, I saw somebody saying that the Wikipedia summary used to be, just be brave and watch it yourself. Which is, like, crazy if that's true. And that definitely got me more interested in it. And then I saw somebody say, as a parent, that makes, or... well, yeah, basically just somebody said, as a parent, I'm not comfortable with this movie, or whatever. And that instantly made me go, oh, okay, so a kid dies. Because when somebody says, as a parent, when they're talking about a horror movie, it's like, oh, kid dies, yeah. And then, you know, obviously the poster is, like, you know, him, and there's, like, he's screaming, and there's, like, broken glass. And I was like, okay, I was a toddler once. And I remember that my mom had to put padding on the side of the coffee table because me and my sisters kept bashing her head on the coffee table. I don't know why. I think kids just have really heavy heads and shit like that happens sometimes. So what I figured was going to happen was that these people were going to get like a glass coffee table, and that their like 2-year-old was going to bash his head on it and die, and then some fucked up stuff would happen after that. I was mostly correct. The part that I was wrong about was the age of the child. Because as it turned out, it wasn't a toddler, it was a like 1-month-old baby. The dad gets left alone with the baby for the first time, and he's trying to set up their new coffee table that he picked out. The wife hated it, but he's trying to set it up, so he's kind of got the glass, like, sitting at a weird angle, and the baby won't stop crying, so he's bouncing it, trying to get it to stop crying, and then he drops the baby right on the glass, and the baby gets decapitated. And the entire rest of the movie is basically like a really fucked up sitcom where the dad's running around trying to keep his wife from finding out that he killed the baby. And it is like the darkest humor that you could ever imagine. And I genuinely did think it was funny. And I've told people that, and they think I'm like a complete sicko. But like, I need you to understand that there's a part where he's like talking to his wife, and he starts, you know, like crying because, you know, he just like killed his child, and he's like really like traumatized and fucked up about it, and he just starts crying, and then it smash cuts to him cutting onions. Like, that's genuinely really funny. Like, it's like the darkest shit you can imagine, but it just hit this like tone with me where I was like entranced and like stressed out, but I was also laughing the entire time. It was so good. And this is not a movie I would recommend to most people. Like, I think it earns its reputation. Like, for the record, the baby decapitation is tasteful. Like, you see the baby's head on the floor, like, it rolls under a chair, I think, so you can kind of, like, see it under the chair, but, like, it doesn't linger on it that much. But there's just, like, blood everywhere. He puts the baby's corpse in the crib, and the blood is, like, soaking through the mattress and dripping onto the floor. It's disgusting. It's awful. Like, it's just... But at the same time, I almost kind of related to the dad, because it's, like... th- that was the first time he was ever alone with the child. That table the was the only piece of furniture in the house that he got to pick out. He finally gets this tiny little bit of responsibility, and he just fucks it up in like the biggest way. And, and it, I, on some level, I understand that. The movie felt like it was written by somebody that, like, is a parent, and they were anxious about, like, oh my god, like, what if I drop my baby? What if I drop my baby on the glass coffee table? Like, what would happen? And that, like, and then they, like, wrote a movie about it. That's what it felt like. It felt like it came from somebody's genuine fears. And I just think it's, like, fantastic. Like, I genuinely think The Coffee Table is, like, one of the best movies of the year. It's just not one that I could ever recommend to anybody. Like, especially anybody with kids. I can imagine, like, how traumatizing this movie would be if you have, like, a baby at home. Like, it is, like, really upsetting. But again, it's, like, it just works. Like, I don't want to say, like, I vibed with it, because that sounds really bad, but, like, I liked what it was doing. There's, like, a part at the end where one of the characters says, in 10 minutes, in 10 minutes, my wife is gonna find out what happened to the baby. And there was 10 minutes left in the movie at that point. Like, I checked. I thought that was really clever. So, yeah, I call the coffee table's gonna get an S. I don't know. I just feel kind of weird about that. But I really like that movie. I really like it a lot. Hi, Hosie's silly music channel. I haven't really. I mean, I'm, I'm, I'll just say hi to people individually. I didn't really do that. Who we got? Tori with the good one and Just Oil. Hi, everybody. How's it going? I got like a million of these left, so like. I scrolled down to Jesus. I got like a million of these left. We're gonna be here forever. Okay. Fall Guy. I barely remember this one. I remember the trailer because I used to get the trailer a lot. It had the "Shot Through the Heart" and "You're to Blame" song. It had that playing. I remember that. It is who the fuck was it? Ryan Gosling? Yeah, Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt. I just barely remember it. I remember I liked the twist. It was like, because I thought it was clever, because the movie's called Fall Guy. The guy's a stunt guy. He's and you know, so that makes sense. But then it also turns out that like he was getting framed for murder. Oh wow, I do not remember what the hell they were framing him for. Shit. It's funny that I could basically just talk about the entire plot of The Coffee Table, and I don't even remember what the hell the main conflict in The Fall Guy was. Oh my god. He was looking for the main actor. But then what the hell did they frame it for? Shit. There was a part where he got high and there was a unicorn. I remember that. You know what? We're gonna yeah, there we go. I don't remember. I'm sorry. I'm doing good. I don't know. I really probably should have did this weeks ago. It's just I just thought it might be fun to talk about some movies I watched, and I'm gonna be here for like 50 years because I can't shut the fuck up. Like, I just be like, this one goes in B, this one goes in C. Just, I have a lot of opinions. Ugh, I got work in the morning, too. Alright, we're gonna power through this. Okay, okay, Tarot. I mean, Tarot, like, fucking sucks, but I watched this completely alone in the theater, and I had, like, the time of my life. I was basically cheering when it turned out that the characters were in Boston, cause like that's kind of where I am a little bit. I'm not in Boston, but like I'm in like that area, and they were like going on the Orange Line, which I have used the Orange Line, so I was like, yeah. I there really isn't much I can defend about the movie. There's lesbians in it. Um, they get some of the worst deaths, which I don't really know how I feel about that, but I guess it doesn't really bother me that much. Like, everybody's death in this movie is kind of fucked up, I guess. Actually, the death with the magician was really cool. If all of the death scenes were like that, this movie would be a lot better, but, like, as it is, it's just, like, shitty. uh... I don't know. I kind of don't want to put it in F though, because like I had fun. I didn't have fun with the other two. Ah, we're gonna do D minus. It is a lot worse than Lisa Frankenstein though. Like I don't know how many movies I'm gonna put in D, but I am going to try to put some distance between these two because, like Lisa Frankenstein, I don't like it, but it is a lot better than Tarot. Okay, Strangers Chapter 1. This movie is going right to the bottom. I hate it. Like, I just do not have the words to describe how much I hate this movie. I like I'm not really like a huge stan of the original Strangers, but I like it. I think the movie has problems. I think that it had like I don't know, like there's like aspects of the original Strangers movie that I find really frustrating. Like they actually managed to have the two characters do something smart, like something that made perfect sense that would probably have saved their lives, where they like crouched in a closet and like they had a shotgun and they were shooting anything that walked by them. Like that would have worked. That 100% would have saved their lives. And they just wrote themselves into a corner, so they just had the guy's friend walk in and shoot him. And like I just find that so stupid. And the characters just like abandoned their plan after that. Like I understand they're upset, but you get back in the closet with the shotgun, the strangers are still hanging around. There's like a point of that movie where it's like dumb and frustrating, and like this is just a me thing, but like they like I think the stupid boyfriend who tried to propose to his girlfriend at a wedding like an idiot and he got rejected and he's just sitting there and he's like eating ice cream. But then like they leave the ice cream out and that stressed me out because I got a thing about melted ice cream. It like grosses me out. So the entire movie I was like, put the ice cream back in the freezer. I do not give a shit if you're being murdered right now. You stop and you put the ice cream back in the freezer. And then you can go back to getting murdered. That's just a me thing. But, like, The Strangers is genuinely, like, kind of a really cool, fucked up movie. It's kind of iconic in its own way, and it does a lot of stuff really well. Like, I do find the part at the end where they're, like, tied up and getting, like, slowly murdered, like, horrifying. Like, that's genuinely, like, an upsetting scene to me. And I feel like it's not really ever discussed, but the strangers like put them back into like their wedding outfits before they do that. And it's just this like level of fucked upness. Like it's never acknowledged in the movie. But I noticed. I was like, she's wearing her dress again. Why the hell did they put her in a dress before they tortured her? It's just ugh. And I like the second one. I don't know if that's like an unpopular opinion, but I think the second one is genuinely really fun and I kind of love it. And it has one of my favorite final girls. I so this is all to say that The Strangers Chapter 1 just is a worse version of the first movie, and it's like everything that they do is wrong. Like, okay, they did the thing again where the stupid boyfriend shoots a random innocent person by accident, but this time it's just like a random person that he doesn't have any emotional connection to, and also I don't even know why the hell that guy was there. He came, like, it's just nothing about the movie makes sense. Like, the guy came to fix the refrigerator, but they were literally staying just for one night, so why the hell did they even call the guy to fix the refrigerator? All they had was beer. They didn't have anything else. And he came at like 2 in the morning to fix the refrigerator, and he didn't seem to notice that like the door was busted in. Like, I don't know. It's like 1,000 times more stupid than the original. They like, I couldn't tell the 2 female killers apart. Like, I guess I just never noticed how similar their masks are, but they hid their hair in this one, which is because they randomly decided that they're just gonna turn this into a whodunit, which kind of takes away the whole point of the movie, which is like, yeah, sometimes people just break into people's houses and kill them for no reason, and that's like really fucking scary. Like, that's what the Strangers had going for it. It's just, it was a random crime, but now they've kind of turned it into like a whodunit, where it's like, oh, the townspeople are killing them because they're outsiders. Oh, it's just so bad. And, like, they gave away the twist in the trailer, like, of why they were doing it. And, like, I don't really give a shit about them spoiling this movie, because this movie's awful. But it's just the whole point of, like, what if somebody was like, I want to go watch the original Strangers movie, before I watched the new one. Like, they just had it spoiled for them. Like the whole, the entire Strangers movie, there's, like, the question of, why are they doing this? Like, what's their motive? And the answer is they just don't have one. They're just sickos. I don't know. It pisses me off on, like, every conceivable level. So, yeah, that's... How long did I fucking talk about that? Jesus. I could go on. Don't tell anybody. This is exclusive information, but depending on how the next 2 installments of The Strangers goes, because yeah, they're doing 2 more. This is The Strangers Chapter 1, which I kind of assumed meant that it was going to be a prequel based off of that title, and also the trailer, which played basically every single time I went to the movies. I was starting to show up to movies late because I was so sick of seeing this trailer. It said, like, find out how the Strangers became the Strangers, which, I mean, again, kind of goes against the whole point that they're just random people killing for no reason. But barring that, it's not a prequel, because the original one was made in 2008, I think it was, and they had flip phones. Like, I specifically remember that they had flip phones because, like, there was a shot of one of them in the fire. I specifically remember that. But in this movie, they're using Airbnb, and they have smartphones, and I believe they had a smart car too. Like, it's just bad on, like, every level. It's awful. I could literally go on. I'm gonna stop though. Yeah. I don't have to say any more about that. Oh, my throat's dry now. Hang on. I have a drink. I'm just gonna take like a 2-second break. I brought this Dr. Pepper for emergencies. Alright. Furiosa. Ooh, you want to hear a fun story about this movie that has absolutely nothing to do with the movie? Which, yeah, we're gonna be here for like another 4 hours because I'm gonna keep doing this shit. Furiosa. I went to go see this with my friend. I usually go to the movies by myself for a multitude of reasons. Most of the time, it's because I mostly go watch horror movies, and none of my friends like horror movies. So, my mom will occasionally go with me to a horror movie. I think she went with me to see, Watchers. She went with me to go see Watchers. But, like, otherwise, I usually just go by myself. But my friend is a big fan of Mad Max Fury Road. So am I. I watched that movie in Greece, fun fact. I was on vacation when it came out, and I talked my cousins into taking me to see it. And they had the only car. That's why they had to go take me to see it. But we all saw it together. It was a good time. I remember the whole theater was shaking. It was great. Um, so I went with my friend. This is the same friend, if you remember from the Terrifier video, that I said one time when we were teenagers, some guy was leering at her when we were at a comic book store, and we like had to flee the premises. Right. So it happened again. I almost rewrote the script of the Terrifier video to include this, because I guess it is an update to that story. But God, that video was so long. It just I wasn't gonna keep including personal stories. Like there was no need. But you're gonna hear it here. I just realized. I'm sorry. Did I ever actually say? Do you remember like 10 minutes ago I was like, oh, exclusive news about the strangers? Did I actually ever say what it was? Right. What I was gonna say is depending on how the other two Strangers movies turn out, I might make a video on it. That's what that news was. Anyways, so news about Furiosa. Some guy sat directly right next to me and my friend, which they were like pre-bought tickets, so it wasn't like that creepy. He didn't know who he was sitting next to when he bought the ticket, so that's fine. But he just kept talking to her. Like, me and her were having a conversation, and he kept, like, talking over me to specifically talk to her. And he had candy. He brought, like, candy with him, and he kept forcing it on my friend. Like, it was, like, kind of fucked up. Like, we were genuinely kind of, like, scared when we were sitting there. Like, I don't think we, like, thought he was gonna do anything, but it was just the whole point of, like, dude, the stranger keeps trying to force you to eat his candy. Like, what the hell is going on? So, I don't know if that, like, affected our viewing experience of the movie. Especially for my friend. I felt really bad for her. Yeah, I mean, it was good. It was fine. I keep forgetting that it exists. Like, I don't know. I feel like it was kind of a big deal when it came out, and then, like, within, like, a few days, like, everybody was just done talking about it. And I don't know, I kind of get that. Like, it just wasn't as big of a thing as you probably would have expected it to be. I feel like I enjoyed the parts where she was a child more than the parts when she was an adult. And I did like the parts of it where it was like, she had like a little buddy with her. I felt that was nice. She had a friend. I saw some people that were like suggesting that was romantic. And I mean, maybe it was, but like, I don't know. She did like the same kind of affectionate gesture with him that she did with her mom. So I don't know. It probably wasn't. And I liked how at the end she used the guy to like plant the seeds. She like used him as fertilizer to grow a tree. I kind of saw that as sort of like you take something bad and you try to use it to make the future better kind of thing. And I kind of liked that. But like, I don't really have that much else to say about it. It's just kind of, I don't know. I just kind of underwhelmed, I guess. Like, I still think really highly of Mad Max Fury Road. I don't know. Furiosa just wasn't like a big thing for me, I guess. It was fine. I don't know. Honestly, maybe like B minus. Like, I was gonna put it in C, and then I was like, oh no, it's a lot better than Drive Away Dolls. Garfield movie. So this is a funny story. This is a lot quicker than the last one. I went to go see this as a reward for being ahead of being ahead in editing. I had recorded a whole bunch of audio for the Terrifier video, and I edited it so fast, like in like a day or two, and that never happens. It usually takes me a lot longer to edit stuff. So I decided I was gonna reward myself for being so quick with the editing, and I went to go see the Garfield movie. I don't know why that was my reward. Maybe I just wanted to eat popcorn. I stopped buying popcorn this year, by the way. I don't remember quite when. Uh Probably around like April or May. I just can't afford it anymore. I I'm like at one point I spent like $10 on a small popcorn, and then yeah, I just didn't finish it, and then I just felt like really shitty about it, and yeah, so I don't remember if that was at the point of when I was at the I don't know why the hell I went to go see the Garfield movie. But one of my younger sisters is like obsessed with Garfield. She has a Garfield shrine. Last year for Christmas, I got her these like novelty Garfield glasses. I couldn't believe how cheap they were. It turns out that they were cheap because they had lead in them. So she can't actually use them or she'll like get lead poisoning. But she has them in her shrine. She also has like 50,000 Garfield plushes and all that. So, yeah. Uh, she didn't even go see this movie. Like, she had zero interest in it. She was like, no, I hate Chris Pratt. I'm not gonna go see it. And I was like, yeah, I understand. I have no idea why the hell I went to go see it. And yeah, I barely remember anything about it, I'm gonna be honest. I remember that there were like flashbacks to when he was like a kid, where like the whole mood changed and the color palette got all warm, and I thought that was nice, and it was like kind of artistic. And I don't really remember anything else. I didn't really like Chris Pratt's performance, but that's like not a surprise. I thought he did awful as Mario. I went to go see that too. That was obviously last year. I need to stop supporting that man taking these voice acting roles that he shouldn't be taking. I don't know. Anyways, I'm actually gonna put it under Fall Guys. I don't think it's bad enough to end up a D. I just feel like nothing for it. Like nothing at all. Okay, In a Violent Nature. I absolutely love this movie. I love In a Violent Nature. And I don't even really want to talk about it that much because, well, I guess I already talked about it on my Patreon. So they already got the exclusive scoop. So I'll talk about it real briefly here. Next video is going to be on In a Violent Nature. And it's going to be very long. And that was not on purpose. I don't make them long on purpose. Like, when I put in the thumbnail for the Terrifier one, oops, 5 hours Terrifier video, I did mean that. I specifically remember I had this cold, horrifying realization at some point while I was editing that, oh my god, this thing's gonna be 5 hours long, isn't it? Like, I did not feel good about this. In a Violent Nature is not gonna be that long. But it is going to be long. I have a shocking amount to say about it. But I can just gush about this movie forever. It's so good. And everybody disagrees with me on that. Even the people that like this movie are like, I hate the ending. The ending is stupid. The ending is pointless. The ending of this movie, like, made me, like, tear up. Like, I was, like, emotionally distraught. And I haven't seen a single other person say that. That is ultimately why I'm making the video, because I had a very profound emotional response to this movie, and I need to explain it myself so I don't feel like a complete idiot for it. So yeah, I don't know. It's going an S, and I think it's going above the coffee table. I'm gonna say this. I completely 100% understand why people do not like In a Violent Nature, but I do. I like it so much. It's just I don't want to talk about it now. That's gonna be for another time. Okay. Watchers. Or is it The Watchers? There's a movie with Micah Monroe called Watcher. And I always get those titles mixed up. I believe hers is Watcher, and this is The Watchers. Anyway, this is basically a complete nothing of a movie. I did not like it. I saw this with my mom. She didn't like it either. I don't even really remember that much about it. I feel like the C section is just turning into like I barely remember this movie. But like it's true, I don't really remember this movie. Like unlike Garfield where I'm like, "Oh, I remember like how the mood changed and the color palette changed when there was flashbacks." And I thought that was really cool. I don't remember any artistic decisions in The Watchers where I was like, "Wow, that's really neat." I don't remember any of them. So it's going under Garfield. It's going under Garfield. I'm sorry. I don't know. Like I didn't even really think the trailers looked that good. I remember people were saying, "Oh, I thought the trailers looked so cool, so it was like a disappointment." And I was like, I didn't really think that they did. But again, me, an idiot, being like, I'm gonna watch every single horror movie this year. So I went to go see that. That was a thing. I would be like in the theater. It's like the same reason I went to go see Strangers Chapter 1, even though the trailer pissed me off so bad I was showing up to movies late to try to avoid it. Like I would see like a trailer and I'd be like, oh, that looks awful. Well, I guess I'll be back here in 2 months to watch it. Like that's it. I need to not like challenge myself to be like, oh, I'm gonna watch all the, because this is what ends up happening. I believe at this point though, I had my AMC membership, so I, just used my perks, so I didn't have to pay for it. Because if you got like the AMC membership, like the highest tier, you could see 3 free movies a week. So I think at that point I did not have to pay for it, which is nice. I didn't have to, yeah, because I remember specifically I was like, well, thank God I didn't have to pay for this Strangers Chapter 1, because that was the worst thing I'd ever seen in my entire life. So, I've gotten a lot of mileage out of that membership. Like, I've probably cost AMC a lot of money because I use all my free movies, and I do not buy concessions. I bought concessions a couple times this year, but not very often. And the theater I go to actually, at one point, was infested with rats this year. So, you think I'm ever going to buy popcorn from them ever again? Absolutely not. Anyways, I don't know. What the hell? Okay, we gotta move on. This is taking forever. Okay, so Fresh Kills. This is one of those movies that I said in the beginning. I'm like, oh my god, there's gonna be so many indie movies that, like, I'm the only person that watched them. This is one of them. It was only put into 30 theaters. Like, that's it. Only 30. And somehow one of them ended up being near me. So, I was one of the few people that got to see it. There was one other person in my theater. I don't know how many people went to go see it on the other days. But, like, I was there, like, opening night. It was, like, Friday night. And I didn't know anything about it. It was movie night. I usually go to the movies on Fridays. And I was just like, there really isn't anything I want to see. So I started Googling what some of the movie titles that I'd never heard of were. And I was like, oh, Fresh Kills. Like, that sounds like really interesting. It's like a mob movie. And the name kind of sounds like maybe there's going to be a lot of violence in it. Maybe it'll be something I enjoy. And it wasn't really what I was expecting. But I loved it. Like, I want to say that, like, up front. Like, this movie is the best. Okay, it's not the best of the year. It was the best of the year for me for a good chunk of the year. Like, I cried like 5 times watching this movie. It's so good. Oh, I related so hard to the main character. And I just, and the mom is such like an interesting character. The fact that she seems like such like an ideal mother in the beginning, and then all of a sudden she just like turns on her child, but like it feels like natural because you can feel like she's projecting, and she's basically projecting for the whole rest of the movie. And I don't know, it just, this movie like genuinely really touched me, and I was like absolutely just like gobsmacked when like I walked out of it. I was like, that was like I was like in shock when I was walking to my car. I was like, that was so good, and I'm like emotionally shattered now. And it sucks because like nobody watched this movie except me. I don't know. if you ever see it on streaming or anything, I would highly recommend it. It's like it's a mob movie. It's like a mafia movie, but it's told from the point of view of like the women in the family, like the wives and the daughters who aren't involved in any of the mob stuff. So the whole movie is basically seeing how it affects them, like all the shit that they're dealing with in the background. It's just so good. Like I don't have enough words of praise for this movie. It's just amazing. Um so yeah, it's obviously going into the number one spot for right now. Like I said, there's one a little bit farther down that, like, I think I already know what my number one movie of the year is. I don't know exactly what order things are going in, but like no, like Fresh Kills for at least a good chunk of the year was my number one for until something else came out. Like I just loved it. Hold on, I gotta have another sip of my Dr. Pepper. God, usually when I record like my super long videos, I just record them in chunks because I can't sit here and talk for hours and hours and hours because my I don't know, it's just I don't really lose my voice, but like my throat starts to get kind of like dry and shit, and that's starting to happen. And we are uh still have a lot to go. God. Okay. Okay. So I used to be funny. I didn't know this movie existed until Amanda the Jedi tweeted about it. She said, "Oh, this is my favorite movie of 2023, and it is finally getting a theatrical release. So if it is coming to a theater near you, then you should go and watch it." So it went to a theater in Boston, which is kind of near me. Like, I'm not super close to Boston, but like I'm kind of close. Like, like not a very long drive. And I don't know how many people watching this have ever been to Boston or are from like the New England area. But let me just make one thing abundantly clear. You never, ever, ever, under any circumstances, drive in Boston. That is suicide. Am I shouldn't have said that. My stream's gonna get fucking taken down or something. You can't say that shit. I don't know if you've ever noticed, but I refuse to say the word unalived. This is a side tangent because I think that I hate that word so much. I am never going to say that word. I am not going to sit here and say, "Oh, if you drive into Boston, you're going to it's like unaliving yourself." No, Jesus, but it's bad. Like Boston is you do not drive in Boston under any circumstances unless it's like a medical emergency and like you got to go to one of the Boston hospitals or something. You do not drive in Boston. I did for this movie because I didn't think that the theater was near a station, one of the T stations. That was incorrect, as I realized later, that there was actually a T station right next to it. So, if I ever have to go to that theater again, I'm just going to do that. Because it was maybe I maybe roughly about 40 minutes away from Boston, and I left 3 hours early, and I barely made it in time. That's how bad the traffic was. That's how bad the other drivers were. Just never, ever, ever drive in Boston. If you take anything away from, like, watching me, take any advice from me at all, never drive in Boston. I can't even, I'm just an idiot. I do not know why I did that. But, like, I don't necessarily regret it, because this is, like, a really good movie, too. We're on kind of a roll here. I'm a big fan of Rachel Sennett, so when I found out that she was in it, I was like, oh yeah, no, I'll go drive into Boston. Yeah, I'll go do anything to go watch Rachel Sennett in the theater. Like a freaking idiot. So, but yeah, I don't know. I don't really even know necessarily what to say about it. It's just, I liked it a lot. It was good. It was an emotional movie. It went some places I wasn't expecting. It was dark, and I thought that the whole like situation that the main character was in, because she's a stand-up comedian, and and she gets like assaulted, and then like her jokes end up sort of becoming evidence against her because she was like, you know, making jokes about liking having sex and stuff. So she's struggling with that. She's struggling with a relationship with another character. It's a drama, I guess you could say, but like it's really good. Like it's just a really good, solid movie. Um, I'm gonna put it. I don't know if it's S. Okay, this is what I'm thinking. Um, actually, maybe this, because I think it should be above the first Omen. I don't know if it should be above Love Lies Bleeding. You know what? Yeah, we're gonna put it above. We're gonna put it above Love Lies Bleeding, but I think it should be under Challengers. No, actually, okay, we're gonna do this. I don't want it above I Saw the TV Glow though. I think that should stay like. I think that should stay like the highest A if possible, because I don't know. I some part of me is like I should move that to S, but also some part of me is like don't do this, and I don't know why. We're gonna leave it at A plus, and I actually do think I Saw the TV Glow is better than this. Like I personally like I like this movie better, so I think that works. Okay. Quiet Place Day One. So I liked this movie. I I don't I guess maybe I don't have a lot of emotional connection to the Quiet Place series. I'm just kind of neutral about it. Like they're fine. I don't know. I, I just thought it was a really like emotional story, and I thought it was really interesting and fresh to see the post-apocalypse from the point of view of um, well, actually, no, not post-apocalypse. It is the apocalypse. Like it's day one. Like the monsters are raining from the sky. Seeing the apocalypse from the point of view of someone who actually isn't trying to survive. Because she knows that because she's like has cancer. I think it is. Like she's literally dying. Like she probably only had like 2 or 3 like months left. I think like she was in hospice care when it happened. So she's just kind of going around tried to visit all of her old spots that she used to love, get some pizza, and like I know some people thought that was dumb. I know some people were like what's the point in following a character who like doesn't care about living or not? It just I thought it was fresh. I thought it was interesting. I I guess I don't really know why that dude follows her around. He should probably care more about survival than he does. But like that's fine. I found it just very emotional and kind of beautiful in a way. I know people were mad about the fact that um like oh it's called day one. I really thought they were going to explore like the monsters and like how the monsters took over. Like they thought it was going to be more of an origin story than it was, and I just like didn't really care about that. Like I said, I just don't really have a huge attachment to like the Quiet Place series. So, you know, maybe if I did, I would be more mad about that, but I just like was like, ugh, like I mean, how much do you really want to know about those things? Like, doesn't that kind of take away some of the intrigue if you just I don't know. That's just me. Like I don't really feel the need to know anything about them. Like they're aliens and you have to be quiet around them and that's like all I got to know. I feel like they work best when they're like a vehicle for exploring the human condition. And this is a part of the human condition that I feel like hasn't really been explored that deeply. Like being in a horrible situation but knowing that you aren't gonna make it out, so trying to make the best of it. I just thought it was cool. Uh, this maybe, maybe. Hmm. No, it's gonna go under Love Lies Bleeding. God, hang on. There we go. I fixed it. Okay. What do we got left? A lot. Jesus. 12, 24, 36, 48. Because I think we started with like 80 something. Oh, we are not even halfway done. Oh my god. Okay. Maxine. I didn't like it. I really did not like it. I feel like I've warmed up to it more. And it is a little weird now because, like, Los Angeles is, like, burnt down, and they filmed it in Los Angeles. And, I mean, they made it look like 80s Los Angeles, but now, I don't know, now I just kind of think about this movie, and it's just like, oh, man. Oh, all that shit's gone. I don't know. I was thinking about that the other day. I was just like, wow, like, how many movies have they filmed in Los Angeles recently? And that's going to be, like, the last time that we see, like, what Los Angeles looked like before the fire. I'm just looking. Do any of these other ones take place there? I don't think so. But again, it is kind of a stupid thought because this is supposed to take place in the 80s, so it's 80s. It's supposed to look like 80s Los Angeles. I don't know. It's just, I didn't like it, and that sucks because, like, I really like X, and I love Pearl. Pearl's genuinely one of my favorite movies. Like, that, I love that movie so much. It's just Maxine didn't work for me. I just, I thought it was so messy. Like, especially at the end. I guessed the killer immediately, like, within, like, a minute. And I am so bad at guessing killers. Like, I'm so bad at it. Like, I usually don't even try. But literally the movie started and I went, oh, it's gonna be her dad. And it was. And they're like, I don't know. And then, like, she just, it's, I just don't really have the, I was just so sad when I saw this movie. I was, like, so bummed out. I was like, I really wanted to like this. And I didn't. And I was, like, really sad about it. Maybe part of it's just the fact, because it was very clearly Giallo inspired. I'm not the biggest fan of Giallo movies, but also, like, that's also, now that I think about it, though, like, I love Malignant. And Malignant is also very Giallo inspired, so that's just, no, I'm gonna just immediately pump the brakes on that. No, that has nothing to do with it. Like, like, I haven't seen probably half the movies that Pearl references, and and, like, that didn't, like, affect my feelings on that movie whatsoever. I love Pearl. I just didn't like Maxine. It just felt like a mess. It didn't feel like a good end to the trilogy. I feel like I could see what they were doing with it. Like, Fame's turning her into a monster. She chooses to kill her dad at the end because she wants to gain a level of fame. And then once you have fame, you gotta do everything you can to keep it. Like, it's not just something that's promised you. Like, once you become famous, it's, you have to keep fighting. I get that. I see that. She's blonde in this movie because in the previous movies it was a thing that, like, Hollywood likes blonde girls and all that. Like, I see that. I know what they're doing. It's just I didn't like it. I just didn't think it worked. So, I don't know. I don't want to put it into D because I do think there was, like, genuinely good ideas in there. And some of them, I don't know if they worked or not. I just, I don't know. I like the part where she puts her keys between her fingers and punches Kevin Bacon in the face like 50 times. I thought that was great. While like St. Elmo's Fire was playing in the background. That's always what I think of when I hear that song now. It's, I don't even know if that's fair because some part of me's like, yeah, I like it better than Drive Away Dolls. But, like, I don't know. I feel like it should be lower than that. But I like it better than Late Night with the Devil. I like it better than Sting. And it doesn't deserve to be here because these are the ones that I don't remember. I remember Maxine. I remember Maxine very well. I just don't, I just didn't really like it that much. But, like, I don't feel like it deserves D, so I guess it's just gonna go there. Yeah, I don't know. I've Forgotten Walrus. What are you buying for DVDs? Anything good? I gotta get some. I bought a shit ton of Blu-rays recently for like research purposes. One of them is going to be on this tier list if I ever get down there. It was it never got any kind of a release. It was just on Blu-ray. Any kind of like theatrical or streaming release. I mean, it got released on Blu-ray. Okay, so Kill. I like it. Okay, I want to say this, that Kill is like objectively a very good movie. I don't know. This is a me problem, is like when a movie is literally nothing but action, like that's literally all it is, I do start to zone out. There's only been a handful of like action movies where I didn't do that. Like, the fourth John Wick movie, there was a good chunk of it where I was, like, 100% invested. But, like, usually, I don't know why, but when it's just nothing but action, I just, like, zone out. And so that did, unfortunately, happen with Kill, I was zoned out of it. And I feel bad, because I think it was a very well-constructed movie, it just wasn't for me. So, like, it's going in the section of movies I don't remember super well, but it's the highest one of that, because it is, like, again, it is, like, objectively good. Like, I think that if you really like action movies, you'd probably love the hell out of it. It didn't work for me, that's all. Okay, so, these next three were a sorry, I, like, cut tongue-tied. Okay, these next three are a triple feature. So, Thelma, Inside Out 2, and Longlegs. I saw them all on the same day. Thelma was, like, a noon, maybe, like, 1 p.m. showing, and then Inside Out 2 was, like, 4 o'clock, and then Longlegs was 7 o'clock. It was, like, all on a Friday or something like that. It was the day Longlegs came out. I think the other two had been out for like a week or so, but it was the day Longlegs came out. So it was on, it looks like, July 12th. So it was, I would say this was a very successful triple feature. I liked all of the movies. I was surprised that I liked Inside Out too, actually. Sorry, I just I got distracted by something. I'm sorry, I'm still here. Inside Out 2, yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, I've been down on Disney lately. I just feel like all the recent Disney releases are just cash grabs. And, like, I'm really mad that they're making a live-action Lilo and Stitch, that I have to look at it every single time I open up my, like, stupid AMC app, because I really like Lilo and Stitch. I think that's, like, basically a masterpiece. It's not, I say basically, because there's a couple deleted scenes I wish they kept in there, but, like, it's really good, and I'm really mad that they're making a live-action one. They're making, like, a live-action Moana. Isn't that movie, like, 6 years old or something? Like, what bullshit is that? But, you know, Inside Out 2 was actually pretty good. I missed the first maybe 10 minutes of it because I accidentally walked into Despicable Me 4 and I didn't realize it right away. Not because I thought that the minions were the emotions or anything dumb like that. It was because I don't know, because the trailers go on for fucking ever, and then by the time the movie started and I walked into Inside Out 2, it was, yeah, it already been going for a few minutes, so I didn't see the very beginning of it, but it was good. I don't really have much else to say about it. Like, I thought the way that they handled Anxiety was interesting. Like, Anxiety was an antagonist, but she wasn't like a villain per se. She wasn't evil. She genuinely was trying to help, and you can see why there would be like a useful function for Anxiety. Like, like looking ahead to try to keep you safe and try to guess what possible dangers there are. Like, that makes sense. And they didn't they kept her around at the end. She just sort of, didn't have as much say. So she was there, but they were managing her. I thought that was cool. I thought that worked out really well. And I don't know. I didn't really have I don't really have any opinions on the other emotions that they added. I thought most of them were kind of useless, actually. Like, embarrassment's basically just sadness again. I don't know what the fuck Envy did. Like, just basically Anxiety's hype man. Ennui, I think, was one. I don't think Ennui did anything either. They could have just put Anxiety. They really didn't have to have the other emotions. I don't know. High B, maybe? I don't really want to put it above Faceless After Dark. Yeah, maybe that. Maybe. I don't know. Like, some part of me is like, it's either a B plus or an A minus. I think that's fine. Thelma was... I know I completely skipped Thelma. Thelma was really good, though. Thelma's, like, genuinely a very delightful movie. I don't think I ever saw any trailers for it. I would see the poster around the movie theater every so often. It was, I don't know, I didn't really know what it was. It was just like an old lady on a scooter. Like, you could see it there. But one of my friends mentioned she wanted to see it. She didn't come with me to see this because it ended up being like 1 o'clock on a Friday. So she was at work, but no, it's just genuinely a very fun, delightful movie, and I just don't think I ever heard anybody talking about it. It's basically just like, it's like a 90-year-old woman, I think even the actress is in her 90s, who gets scammed, and she goes on like a mission on like her little scooter to like get her money back, and so you're watching like a 90-year-old woman kind of doing like spy shit, kind of like she's just doing like really like, like she's just trying to like climb over somebody, but because she's 90 years old, it's like difficult, and they're playing like this really intense spy music. It's just a very fun, delightful movie. I actually really appreciated the fact that, not to say that like the boomers in the movie were the bad guys, because I feel like I'm accidentally going to imply that that's the case, but her daughter, I think, who's probably like in her 40s or 50s, maybe older than that, I'm not sure, but her daughter, and then like then her daughter has a son who I think is like 22 or 23 years old, and they make sort of a point to show that his parents treat the old people in their lives and the young people in their lives like basically the same. Like, like there's very delicate little babies, and like they need their hand held, and like they need all the help in the world. I'm not sure if I'm explaining that right. Like they, like they're very overprotective of the old lady, and then they're very overprotective of like their kid, and they're smothering both of them, and neither one of them get to have any sense of freedom. And I kind of definitely feel that, like, I've experienced stuff like that with like my family, and I know some of my friends have experienced it with their families, where it's like their parents are always like badgering them and like, try to, get them to get better jobs or like do better in their lives and all that. And so I'm not explaining it right. I need you to understand that when I write scripts for my video, I write like 5 drafts to try to keep this sort of thing from happening. I don't. It had a nice little like comparison between the generations. I guess is the best way to say. I thought it was really cool. Uh, so Thelma, I'm gonna put it. I'm definitely putting an A. Um, I think that's a good spot for it actually. The A's and the C's are filling up pretty quickly. It's actually been a pretty good year for movies. Like, I mean, I know a bunch have been put sort of in the mediocre category. It's actually kind of even right now, but like I do genuinely think it was like a pretty good year for movies. I'm just gonna like read the chat for 2 seconds because I haven't really looked at it in a while. Hey guys. Yeah, so I actually when I got Forgotten Waters, when I got Faceless After Dark, um, I I specifically remember like I tried to buy it off directly off of their website because they were selling side copies, but they refused to send it to my address for some reason. And I guess maybe if I was smart, I would have sent it to my mom's address. But I was just I think I ended up having to buy it on Amazon and it wasn't signed, and that sucked. I don't know why the hell that was the case. I saw The Lighthouse for the first time recently. I thought it was really good. Is the cyberbully that one with like Emily Osmond from like a million years ago, or is that like a different movie? Because wasn't that one called Cyberbully? Sorry, I'm just like taking a drink right now. I'm sorry to hear about your foot, Tori. That sucks. I feel like something like that's happened to me. I like I used to have like the worst drawers when I lived with my mom. Like they were like the dresser was like 1,000 years old. Oh, thanks, Hayden. Honestly, though, like I really am genuinely just touched by the really positive reaction that the Terrifier video got. Like, I think I'm probably gonna whenever the hell I talk about the substance, I might mention it because I that video went out the same day that the substance got released, and I went to go see the substance open at night, and um I just remember after I got out of that movie, I went and sat in my car, and I had like so many comments, and I don't think any of them were negative. Like, I was really expecting people to get mad at me for that video. Like, I think I might have said something when in like at like the very end when I was like, you know, like that ending ramble thing that I had, where I was just like, you know, at the end while I was drawing and I had like the Patreon credits or whatever, I was just like, yeah, I can't believe I fought so hard to get this video out because everyone's gonna leave me mean comments. But like, I really didn't get that many. I got a really funny one today. It was the first time anybody ever said anything about like, oh, it's too bad that you're a stupid leftist because I like your video otherwise. That's the first time anybody has said that. I laughed when I got the notification because I was 100% expecting to get like 100 of those comments. But no, that was the first time. People have just been really, really nice. And I'm glad that like it inspired you because I don't know. I also have a lot of feelings about Terrifier 3 that I gotta process. And I have been. It's just I'm working on something else right now. So, I haven't really gone super in depth with it. But I do think that like it's good to like analyze your feelings on media. I do get a lot of enjoyment out of doing it. Like, I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't think it was fun. I genuinely think it's fun to just sit there and write, like, this is why I think this movie is really cool, and then it goes on for, like, 50 pages, and then the video ends up being 5 hours long. Well, I'm glad nothing happened to your foot. That's good. Cause that does suck, like foot injuries. They suck really bad. I've never heard of Cyberbully with Maisie Williams. Is that like a horror movie or is it something else? Thank you, Hayden. That's very sweet. I I don't know. Um I don't even really know what possessed me to make that video. I just wanted to, and that just happens sometimes. Like I'm just like, well, I guess I'm doing this now. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to the movies because oh my god, like I didn't even finish my triple feature. Long legs. Do you guys want to hear my sad backstory about long legs? This was my fault because I'm an idiot. I was at the theater. I was at the theater all day. I could have gotten my ticket at any time. I could have booked it like days in advance, and I didn't. You know what happened? I got out of Inside Out 2 at like 6 o'clock, 6:30, something like that. I don't know. And I was like, okay, Long Legs is at 7. Let me just go buy my ticket. There was like 2 tickets left. It was like sold out. It's a good thing I went to go get them right then because I wouldn't have been able to see it if I waited like 10 more minutes. But both of the seats were right in front of the screen and all the way to the right. And I I can't even fucking believe that AMC sells tickets to seats like that. Because, oh my god, like, do you know, like, what it looks like? Like, when, like, I don't know if you've ever messed around in Photoshop and, like, you use, like, the skew tool. And it's not a tool. It's like it's one of the transform things. You can skew it so it's like italicized. Like it looked like the movie was italicized. It like everything was at an angle. Like I couldn't see. I To make matters worse, it's one of those theaters where it has like the retractable seat and like I my seat didn't recline. Did I say retractable seat? It's a seat that reclined, right? Like it's supposed to go back, and it didn't. It was the only seat in the row that didn't. It was broken. So I was literally like positioned myself at such a bad angle just so I could like watch the movie. Like it was ridiculous. And like I got home and everyone was like, "Oh my god, the cinematography was so good." Like I didn't get to see that. I didn't get to see the good cinematography because everything was at like a 45-degree angle. So I went to go see it again like a week later. And I enjoyed it a lot more the second time. I didn't really know that much about it. I didn't know there was an ARG, but I had seen a bunch of the creepy trailers. I liked the trailers. I didn't know what the hell was going on in them. But whenever I got them when I was at the movies, I was like, yay, they're creepy. Actually, that's something I could say about Tarot also, as I really actually enjoyed the Tarot trailer. I genuinely thought that the trailer for Tarot was a good time. Like it had like a creepy poem in it. I like a creepy poem. Longlegs' trailer had a creepy poem. Anyways, so the Longlegs movie was I like it a lot. I feel like that's controversial because I feel like a lot of people were just so hyped about it, and I just was kind of like, yeah, I'm gonna go see it and hope it's good, and then it ended up being at a 45-degree angle, so that sucked. But yeah, I kind of see it, and I see it as like a movie about like childhood repression, yeah. Like repression, and like you get to and sort of becoming stunted emotionally due to trauma. Like she like Lee sort of becomes sort of like a husk, for most of her life due to the events that happened on her ninth birthday, I think it was, like the day before her ninth birthday. And then once the doll that is, her as a child gets destroyed, she she becomes like a 9-year-old again. And, it's funny. It's also very sad. But it's funny that I was watching Longlegs and I was like, wow, Lee Lee is just like me. We are the same. I am also this weird, socially awkward lady, stumbling through life who everybody, kind of looks at and thinks is a little I don't know. I, I, I'm not gonna say I'm exactly like Lee, but it was kind of nice seeing like that kind of a character on the screen, and I was like, wow, I do kind of relate to her a little bit. And then I go home and like I see, and I kind of looked up other people's thoughts. They were like, oh, she's such a freak. Like, no matter, like, of course she was possessed by the devil. And I was like, oh, I I don't know. I feel like I got a lot out of it. So, oh, have you guys seen the take that it's transphobic? Because like I don't I was so baffled when I heard that. I was like, in what way? Like, there's no trans people in it. But then I've seen it explained, and like, I guess it makes a little bit of sense that, like, Longlegs is kind of feminine and he does kind of talk in a funny voice, and people were saying like, oh, he's supposed to be like what people think a trans woman is, and it's like, okay, but Longlegs is a glam rocker. Like, that's an actual aesthetic that exists in the real world. He's a glam rocker, and he's talking in like a coochie coochie coo voice. Like, he's talking in that really dumb baby voice that people use when they talk to little children. Like, I understand maybe how you would get that perception if like you went into this movie without like, you know, knowing about the glam rock aspect, but also like he sings a lot of like glam rock songs, and like there's like lyrics from T-Rex in the movie. And I read this article where they were just like, oh, like, what the fuck was it? It was, they were like, yeah, like this like feminine man with long hair and like a feminine voice is like destroying families, and he's the one that's making the fathers kill the families, not like toxic masculinity or whatever. It's the gays' fault. It's the queer people's fault. And you know what? Maybe you would have a point there if it wasn't for the fact that the mother was the one that committed most of the murders. Like, I do agree that there is something a little bit, like queer coded about Nicolas Cage's character, just due to the fact that the movie is a little bit is based off of Osgood Perkins' actual like life, where his dad was Anthony Perkins, and he died of AIDS, I believe, and Osgood didn't even know that his dad was gay, so his mother was just keeping this huge secret from him. So if Longlegs is supposed to represent that secret, like, he was hiding in the basement the entire time and Lee didn't know it, then yes, in a way, he does kind of represent a gay man. But I just think it's a little bit of a stretch. I would understand if somebody is like trans and they genuinely are made uncomfortable about this movie, but I'm just not sure that it really holds up to definitively say that Longlegs is transphobic. Like, I don't know. Like, that's just kind of my opinion on it. So, okay, I guess I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know why the hell I I don't know why the hell I went off like that. I was just so baffled when I was reading that person saying like, yeah, we got like this queer guy making the dads like kill the families, and that's taking all the responsibility away from the toxic masculinity. Like, Roof was the one killing all the families. Are you kidding me? Like, it was a team effort. It's just, I don't know. I'm sorry. Like, all right. Okay, so Oddity. This movie's pretty good. I I don't really know if I have that much to say about it. It's just good. It's a scary movie. It's kind of iconic in a way. Like maybe that's not the right word, but it's like that doll thing that she has. You probably can't really see it in the poster, but like you see that thing and you instantly know what movie it's from. It's like it's just a genuinely like really cool thing. And honestly, when it started like walking around, it kind of reminded me of like a video game a little bit. Like that is sort of a video game esque thing. I have I don't know. I feel like I've seen video games where it's like, oh yeah, there's like a doll, and every time you look at it, it's in a different position, and then it gets up and starts walking around. That's kind of what it reminded me of. I just thought it was like a good movie. I was like devastated when the main character like fell off of the second floor, and honestly, I gotta give it to them about that like new girlfriend that the husband gets. Like they could have had her be like a complete asshole, and they didn't. And she ended up like actually being like the smartest character, because not only did she like flee immediately, she like dumped him. She was like, you know what, like I think it's really weird that people keep dying in your house and you continue to live there. I don't want anything to do with you anymore. I thought that was cool. I thought I don't know, I was really expecting them to do that thing where they just make the new girlfriend an absolute bitch or whatever, but like they didn't. I'm not saying she was like nice, but like I do understand why she was a little bit hostile. Like, she suddenly had to, like, babysit this woman who she just, like, shouldn't have had any kind of relationship with at all. I don't know. I gotta appreciate that character, I guess. I don't know. I liked it. It's definitely not, like, best of the year for me or anything, but it was good. I look forward to whatever. I can't remember the name of the person that made it, the director or whatever, but I look forward to whatever they do next, because it was good. I maybe liked it more than Longlegs? I don't know about that, actually. It's either gonna go right before or right after Longlegs. Yeah. I don't know. You know what? I feel like I have more of an emotional connection to Longlegs. So, okay. I guess that works. It is kind of weird that I'm doing it like this is like A minus, this is like A plus, and now it's kind of like at the bottom. Whatever. I don't know if there's necessarily a right way to do this. Okay, Trap. I didn't like it. I've seen people go like, oh, it's like, I thought it was like the best cover of the year. I thought it was funny. I didn't even really think it was that funny. I was just sitting there for like maybe the last however long. I don't know. Like, how the hell long did the ending of this movie go on for? It felt like it went on for like 45 minutes. That's probably not accurate. I thought the whole movie was going to take place at the concert. It probably would have been better if it took place at the concert. And then, like, all of a sudden, M. Night Shyamalan's daughter becomes, like, a main character. Like, are you kidding me? I was just, like, so, like... Okay, when I found out that M. Night Shyamalan's daughter was playing the pop star in the movie, I just thought that the pop star was going to be, like, a background character. Like, I didn't think she was going to be involved in the plot at all. I was like, okay, they're using the concert as, like, a sting operation. She's just going to be in the background singing her songs. Maybe she'll get a line or two. I thought it was cute. I thought it was, like, oh, he thinks his daughter's a good singer, so he's going to like give her like a cameo in his movie. That's really sweet. And then she ended up being like a main character, and it was really bad. I I just didn't get any joy out of this movie. I was like annoyed. Oh, Opal's here. Hi. Hey, come here. Come here. Oh, come here, honey. You wanna be in the live stream too? My sister's cat Opal has just walked in. Usually when I'm recording, they're like all over the place, and I usually have to kick them out because they just start doing kick flips and stuff. I don't care if they're here though for this because it's just a live stream. It doesn't really matter. The audio quality doesn't have to be good. Hi, sweetie. Yeah. Anyway, I don't like traps, so it's gonna go in uh you know, actually I had more fun at tarot than I did at trap. I didn't have any fun with trap at all. You all done, Opal, honey? Come here. Okay. Yeah. I didn't. Yeah. So, yeah, Trap gets a D minus. Didn't I say I was gonna try to put distance between the? Whatever. Okay. Cuckoo. Sorry. Hold on. Don't do that. Hey. Hey. Don't scratch the furniture. You have like 50 scratching posts. There's like one over there. Okay. Honey. Anyways, so, okay, Cuckoo. I feel like this was another one that was, like, controversial. It was very weird. I'm gonna give it to you. It was very, very weird. I remember people were saying it was a body horror, so I went in expecting a body horror. There was no fucking body horror. Like, what the hell was, like, what, her head got stapled, I think, might have been it. I mean, I guess if you consider getting, like, impregnated against your will body horror, which, sure, but, like, you didn't really see that happen. Oh, did you? The lady had, like, goo on her hand. Ugh. It was it's a very weird movie. I genuinely did like it, though. I feel like it was really cool and creative, and the villain was not the villain, the creature. Like, I know it just looked like a woman, but like I thought it was kind of cool. I like how people were getting stuck in time loops. That scene on the bike was genuinely really spooky. And I really like the aspect with the sisters. The part where she like got her answering machine, her mom's answering machine, and she was like listening to it, and she heard that like her sister like used the text to speech to like leave a message saying like, "Hey, like Gretchen is my sister and she misses you, and like you could come visit us because she's really sad." Like, oh god, that like made me cry. Like, that was so sweet. Like that whole, and then like they were like being like body shields for each other to get out. It was so cute. It was like I thought that aspect of the movie worked really well. I kind of like, I don't know. It's either gonna be a B plus or an A minus. I think. Maybe there, maybe, or I could put it under Monkey Man. I'm gonna put it under Monkey Man. I think I like that better. Okay, Opal's tunneling. I can hear her. I think she got behind the couch. I'm just gonna ignore that. I'm assuming nothing bad's gonna happen back there. Okay. Oh my god. I keep looking at how many I have left. Where did I start this? Like 2 hours ago? Oh my god. Like, I gotta go to bed in like an hour and a half. Okay. Alien Romulus. So I've only ever seen the first Alien movie. I think I actually really would like the second one based off of everything I've heard about it. I just haven't gotten around to. Opal, stop clawing the couch. Oh god. Okay, so I'm just she. Okay, she's gonna slow me down. Okay, I'm gonna ignore it. I'm gonna ignore it. If she wants to destroy the furniture, that's fine. Okay. Anyways, I've only seen the first Alien movie. I think I would like the second one. I don't know. I haven't watched it, and I thought this was good. This definitely does. This and Cuckoo go into like the pregnancy horror thing I mentioned like hours ago. Like, oh, there's been so many pregnancy horror movies going on. That's just like a thing now. Like, you know how people will like intrinsically kind of go like, "Oh no," when they're watching a horror movie and like a cute animal shows up. Like I do that whenever like a pregnant woman shows up, or like a character goes like, "Oh my god, I'm pregnant." I'm just like, "Oh jeez, oh god, oh god, here we go, oh, god." Uh, I yeah, I wasn't expecting. I mean, I don't really know what I was expecting, to be honest. I was wondering if that was gonna somehow like her being pregnant was gonna somehow tie into like the chest burster. I guess was kind of what I was thinking, and I um no, she like gave okay. Her baby ended up being like a half human, half um uh uh xenomorph. I forgot what it was called for a second. A half yeah, half human, half xenomorph. And I think it was breastfeeding from her. Like I saw some people saying it was like sucking her blood from her neck. And like I think I don't know what it was doing, but it was fucking gross. And that entire part of the movie was like fucking insane. Like holy shit. Um now I'm just kind of thinking I um yeah, like all I can think about is that fucking baby. I okay, so there was also like the relationship with like the sister and like the android brother. And that was sweet. I liked that. It was I don't know. There's been a lot of like interesting sibling relationships this year. I feel like that hasn't been mentioned so much, but like Lisa Frankenstein had it, and Cuckoo had it, and this had it, and I feel like there was something else. I Never Let Go had some sibling stuff going on in it. So did Memoir of a Stell. A lot of sibling stuff. I feel, which is pretty cool. It's better than the usual uh like everything being like a romantic relationship. We're branching out a little bit. Got some sibling stuff. Very cool. I do remember him saying the like "leave her alone, you bitch" line, which even though I've never seen Aliens, I know that line, and I did not like that. That is a pet peeve of mine. I said that when I was talking about the first Omen. I'm gonna just repeat myself because like whatever. I genuinely get annoyed when like I'm watching like a sequel or a prequel or something and they just start referencing the other movies. Like I'm not watching the other movies. I'm watching this movie. Like I watched Doctor Sleep for the first time this year and I was really enjoying it until like the last act of it where they were in the Overlook Hotel and it was nothing but Shining references and I got really annoyed. Like just I know that the big one people were talking about was like the dude who like they like CGI'd or AI'd or whatever. They like deep faked the one of the original actors who played like an android. And I'm really bad with faces, so I didn't initially realize that that's who that was. I realized it eventually, but I instantly looked at that and it was like, okay, that's not an actual person. His mouth isn't moving correctly. And that genuinely distracted me. I did not like that. I wish that that wasn't a thing. They could have hired an actor. They could have done something. It didn't have to be the same character. I'm not even sure it was the same character. I don't know why the hell they did that. I You know what? It's like it was good though. I I do genuinely think I liked. I think I liked Cuckoo more than it. Actually, I think I liked Cuckoo more. I'm just kind of I was just kind of looking at it, and I was like, I think Cuckoo needs to be a little bit higher. Did I like Cuckoo better than Infested? I don't know. Sure. Cuckoo's just moving up the ranks. You know what? I did not like it more than Thelma, though, so that's probably where it's gonna stay. Plus, now we got two red ones next to each other. We got a lot of red here. It's very aesthetically pleasing. Okay, so this was another, okay, so Strange Darlings Dream and Blink Twice. So this is what I was affectionately referring to as a 3-movie weekend, which means it was technically a triple feature again, but I slept between Stream and Blink Twice. Like, Stream was like a 9 p.m. showing, and I got out of there around maybe midnight. And then I went home, I went to bed, I got up, I went to the theater, and I watched Blink Twice. So, I mean, technically it wasn't a triple feature, but, like, I saw all 3 movies in a very short amount of time. And again, I liked all of them. I'm gonna just talk about Stream really quick because, I don't know, I feel like I got more stuff to say about the other 2 than I do about Stream. I don't think Stream is a good movie. I genuinely considered making a video about it because I was just so annoyed the way that they handled the daughter character, and that I just was like, basically this movie is about, like, it's like a live stream thing. It's by the people that made the Terrifier movies, by the way. I believe I talked about it at length in the video. Maybe not at length. I talked about it for a little bit. I don't think I, like, spoiled it or anything, but I was just like, this is a movie that exists. It is, about like a hotel that gets taken over by, like, I don't know, gamers, and they, like, live stream, them, like, like a competition where they try to murder as many people as possible. And so the daughter actually gets out of the building, I believe, before the game actually starts. Like, she sneaks out to go to a concert with some French people, and then she feels guilty about it because she's, like, a complete fuck-up, and she's like, I need to go back because, like, I left my family there and all that, and she, you know, and then so she goes back. I don't even remember how she gets into the building, to be honest, because at that point they locked it up, but she got in somehow. She gets, like, knocked out for a little bit. Oh, Opal just, like, reached down and poked my knee. Hi, sweetheart. Can you stop scratching the furniture, honey? That would be really nice. Yeah. So she gets back to the building somehow, gets, like, immediately knocked out, and then at the very end, she, like, kills her dad. And it's, like, an accident in that her dad was in disguise as one of the villains, so she thought that she killed the villain because she was trying to save her brother. She thought her brother was about to get killed by one of the villains. And the thing is that would be, like, really cool if that happened, like, in the middle of the movie, because the whole point of that character was that she was, like, she was a fuck-up, and she felt like she was, like, ruining everything, and she would have literally, like, ruined everything halfway through, and then had to, like, protect her brother, and her brother in the beginning of the movie even expressed to his dad, like, oh, she's not a good sister. And then, like, imagine them having to survive with each other if that happened halfway through, that she accidentally killed her dad, and then the brother hates her, but he still relies on her because he's, like, 10 years old, and he can't take care of himself. There's, like, a scene in the movie where, like, this random adult woman, I believe she was part of, like, a lesbian couple. I'm not really sure what was up with them. There was, like, a throuple or something in the movie, but it was, like, mostly the girls that were making out, and the guy was just kind of watching, I think. I don't know what's up with that, but alright. But, yeah, like, she just randomly starts, like, protecting a little brother. And, like, I don't know who the hell she was, or why she was, like, emotionally invested in this kid. But I remember watching that and going, like, the sister should be doing this. Like, what the hell? Like, who is this random woman? So, I don't know. I just, like, I have a lot of issues with that movie, and I feel like it would have been like so much better if they like restructured it. But on the other hand, there's a kill in this movie, and it is the most amount of joy. Like watching the kill happen was the most amount of joy that I felt in a movie theater this whole year. And I am going to be really sad if the kill doesn't get nominated for like the Dead Meat Horror Awards or anything for best kill. I don't expect it to win because it's going up against In a Violent Nature and Terrifier 3, and it's really hard to beat those movies. But oh my god, it was like I was scream laughing. I had tears rolling down my face. I was literally rolling around. Oh my god. Basically, you got David Howard Thornton, who's, Art the Clown, and he's got like a twin sister in the movie who I kept calling Hatsune Miku. I just completely forgot how to pronounce her name. I'm sorry. I'm getting tired. Hatsune Miku, because of her hair. I saw someone else online call her Sailor Moon because of it's like the long pigtails sort of thing. But they like nail a guy to a door, and then they play tic-tac-toe in his chest. And it was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. And there's no way I can rake the movie low because of that. Even though it has a million problems, there's no way I could ever rake it low because that was like the best thing I've ever seen. That was the best moment in a movie this year, and I do not give a shit. No, it should not go. There we go. It doesn't seem right in going above Furiosa, but like, I cannot. Actually, you know what? There we go. Stop motion deserves to be a little bit higher. I just felt so much joy. I can't even express. I was so happy. I don't know who came up with that. I know Damien Leone did the effects. But whoever the hell came up with that kill, I love you so much. I want to see what else comes out of your brain. Okay, so then Strange Darling. I believe I saw this when it was opening night. And it was one of the... Strange Darling is one of those movies where everyone's just like, don't look up anything before you go into it. Don't look up anything before you go into it. I don't even think I watched the trailer. I just kind of like watched it. I had kind of a rough idea because I had seen the image of like the guy with the gun and like the woman running. So I was just like, okay, I guess we're going to be watching a guy hunt a girl down and there's going to be like a plot twist at some point. That's like the only thing that I knew. The movie sold me though, like immediately, because like one of the first things you see is like Strange Darling, a movie in 6 parts, part 3 or whatever, like chapter 3, and I was like, oh my god, it's being told out of order, holy shit. And then it says some fucking like this is based on a true story, which I don't know how the hell people keep falling for this. Like, this is the same trick movies have been using since at least the Texas Chainsaw... since the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 50 years ago. I think that was 1974. J.T. Mulder, who like wrote and directed this movie, he did a Reddit AMA, and somebody had asked him, like, I tried to Google the story that this movie was based off of, and I couldn't find anything. Like, can you can you, like, explain, like, what happened in real life or whatever? And I was just like, are we really still falling for this? Like, people also, like, think that The Strangers was based on a true story. And it's like, I don't know. It's like, I'm not, like, mad about it. It's just, I'm just so confused. Like, that is such a, every single horror movie says it's based on a true story. Whatever. But, like, Strange Darling does the thing where it's like, this is based on the like last few days of the serial killer's life and the last few victims that they took or whatever. It said something to that effect. And then, and then they cut to a man like snorting cocaine and flooring it down the highway with a shotgun, shooting at a woman. And oh my god, like I was invested like right away. And and the plot twist in this movie And I was kind of starting to suspect it because it, like, as the movie went on, and it was told out of order, but like as the movie went on, I was starting to kind of realize there is something a little weird about this woman. Like when she finally manages to get away from the guy who's chasing her with the gun, and she goes into some, like, she finds a house, she kind of like prepares herself before she knocks on the door. Like she like starts getting herself ready, I noticed. And I was like, now why are you doing that if you're scared for your life? Is that just like a weird direction? Like from, is that just a weird part of the movie? Like is that a weird acting choice? Like what is that? But then it turns out that actually the woman is the serial killer and not the man. And I realized that at some point because I was like, that little blurb in the beginning didn't have any pronouns. It didn't say that the serial killer was a man. And it's just like the movie just like completely changes after that. Like it's really, really good. I it's kind of funny too. Like there's these people and you watch them make breakfast and it's really fucking funny. Like my entire theater was just like dying laughing. But oh my god, like I felt so betrayed by that woman because I felt so bad for her the whole movie. Like especially since when it jumps back to the beginning of the movie and she's like, you know, and it's like her and the man are about to go get a motel room together, and she's just like, oh, like I need to ask, like, are you a serial killer? Because you know you really gotta be careful when you're a woman, so you need to tell me, like, if you're gonna hurt me, or like she says something to that effect. And you know the guy's just like, haha, no, like I'm not a serial killer, and like I felt so bad for her at that moment. I'm like, oh my god, like he's gonna kill you. Oh, hang on 1 second. Heidi, do you need to go in this room? Come on, Opal. Go on in. Okay, I had to go help the cat. Anyways, but yeah, like I felt so bad for her, and then like I felt so betrayed, and um, I don't know. It's just a really well constructed movie. I do have to say that there is this one really cringy part I don't like. Um, when the woman's about to get caught, she's like pretends to have been raped, and I really did not like that. At the time at least, I was like, I don't know. I feel like that's kind of sending a bad message that uh, like because there was two cops. There was a guy cop and then there was a girl cop. And the guy cop, you know, sees this woman like on the ground with her pants down, like handcuffed and crying for help, and he's just like, oh, I don't know, maybe we should go investigate this. And then the woman cop is, I swear to God, she's like, believe all women. That's fine, but I, 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 I did see this one take online that it was actually a really good take, and it did actually change the way I viewed the movie, where um where everybody that was suspicious of the woman, every single person that was suspicious of the woman wasn't white. There was like I think there was an Asian woman. The cop wasn't white. There was like a woman who I think was like indigenous at the end who like was suspicious of her. So it's not so much a hate the couch. Oh, well, stop it. It wasn't so much a like, oh, like women are lying kind of story, and more of like a white tears, I guess, for lack of a better word. I'm not sure if that applies here. But, you know, like the whole, because the woman's very tiny and petite and blonde and pretty, and she just starts crying and everybody feels bad for her. And yeah, I mean, shit like that does happen in real life, where somebody who like fits that demographic does something wrong, but people still feel bad for them anyways. And the movie is definitely about perception. Like, the people who didn't suspect her didn't have the whole story, just like we didn't have the whole story. We started out the movie with the dude snorting a bunch of coke and trying to hunt her down in his truck. Like, But if we had started the story a couple chapters ago, we would have we would have saw the horrible stuff that she did to him before that. So we would have understood what was going on. It's a story about the perception. Like, you look at those two people and you assume that the guy is the killer, but sometimes it's not. And even her, like, saying to the guy, like, are you a serial killer? Like, you know, like, you have to be careful, you know, like, women have to be careful with who they go off with. He didn't ask her if she was a serial killer. And he probably should have. I mean, not that she would have been honest, but, like, I just kind of thought that was interesting. It's like, yeah, I mean, I'm not a man, but I do feel like women are, just from my personal experience, women are more cautious than men, but men can get hurt too. It happens. Like, shit does happen if you're a man. It's not just women that are in danger. So, I don't know. I thought it was really good. Like, I thought that it was like it's, I think about it, and I just, I like it a lot. Like, the end where she's, like, bleeding to death, and it's, like, this really long shot where the color is draining away. It's so good. Like, that's probably just, like, one of, like, it's such, like, considering all the crazy bitch shit that she gets up to. Like, it's just absolutely, it's just the shit that she gets up to is insane. And then she just, like, her death is just so slow and somber. I really do like this movie. I do kind of want to, I do want to put it in S. It's probably gonna go, like, on the lower end of S. I like, here, maybe. I think I like the coffee table more than it. But yeah, I like that movie. I'm sorry I spoiled it, but like I said, I'm doing spoilers in this video. Should I have, okay, if I ever do this again, if I ever do a second stream, hey, stop. I see it, yeah, like, maybe I'll put spoiler warning in the title. I don't know. Can I change the title? I don't know how to. I've never really done this before. I streamed one time 4 years ago, and I don't remember how to do it. I feel now that I'm this deep, I'm starting to feel a little bad that I'm spoiling everything. Because I know I said up front that there's gonna be spoilers, but I don't think there was anybody watching when I said that. I don't know how to change the title. I'm sorry. I'm learning. Okay. Blink twice. I really need to fucking move it. Gosh. Okay. Blink twice. Blink twice is okay, so Blink twice, what's her name? Is it Zoe Kravitz? Yeah, it's her. It's her debut as a director. It's her first movie, and I genuinely really liked it until the end. Like, I swear to God, like, the last, like, 2 or 3 minutes, like, ruined it. And, like, I'm a little mad about it, because up until that point, it is a really, really good movie. It is very well constructed. There are, like, several twists. They are all, like, foreshadowed perfectly. I found myself, like, very invested in it. It did become kind of clear to me, like, what was happening at a certain point. Like, I was like, this, like, a sex trafficking island? Because, and it was a sex trafficking island. I didn't know if they were gonna show it, and they did for like a minute, but still, I probably should have known that, though. They literally put a trigger warning in the beginning of the movie. I don't know entirely how I feel about that. Like, I guess I like that. I mean, it couldn't hurt to have a trigger warning before a movie, I guess. I just don't think I've ever seen one. Like, maybe, like, if I'm gonna watch something online or something, somebody will put a trigger warning, but it was, like, in the movie. I don't know. It was just kind of an observation. Like I was just kind of like, oh, okay, that's interesting. Um, yeah, but like the end of the movie is basically that like the main character ends up like brainwashing the villain, and then she's in charge of the sex trafficking island. And I guess to be fair, I do not believe that she's actually doing any sex trafficking anymore. I think she's using her power to track down the men who victimized her and her friends, and that's good. But I also, oh bull, what? I don't even know what she did. Okay, just gonna. I'm trying to ignore it. I swear to God, like they are so quiet, and then I start recording, and then okay. Anyways, yeah, like I don't like she's using her newfound power to like track down like the bad guys, and that's good. But also like she literally is basically standing on the graves of her friends, especially her best friend. And that just like severely rubs me the wrong way. And I know I'm not the only one that feels like that. I see a lot of people saying that the ending ruined it. It's just too bad because otherwise it's it's really good. It's solid. It's just oh my god, I hate the ending. Like if the ending was better, if the ending was not that, this would probably be an S movie. But it's not. Like I can't. I have to lower it because of that. Like that's how bad the ending is. Uh uh no. Yeah, that works, I guess. It's still high. Like, it's just the movie's good. It's just I can't get over how bad the ending is and it sucks. Okay. So, Afraid. I always read this for some reason as, like, Afraid AI. Like, that's how I read that title in my head. I don't know why. It doesn't even make any sense. It's just the AI part of it's italicized and my brain just hyper focuses on that, I guess. I don't know. Awful. Like genuinely like really fucking bad. Like I was 100% expecting it to turn out like I was expecting like before the credits rolled that like a thing was gonna pop up on the screen that said like this movie was written by AI because that's what it felt like. It was so fucking bad. Like I don't even know what to say. It's just not like nothing about the movie was good. Nothing. Like the opening scene was at least a little bit intriguing, I guess. Like it was a little bit creepy. Like oh god, like there's like oh like there's like creepy AI videos and the AI voice is telling the child to go somewhere. Like that's creepy. If it had kept like that tone for the whole movie, I would have been like okay, I that's fine. Like it's not anything to run home about, but it would have been something, I guess. It wasn't. It wasn't anything. It sucked. Sorry, I'm taking another drink of my Dr. Pepper. I like. I'm. I almost kind of want to put it below The Strangers Chapter 1. I don't know if I should. Because at least Afraid isn't like shit. Sorry. So like, but like cause like at least Afraid is like its own thing, right? It's not like shitting all over another movie like The Strangers Chapter 1 is. But God, I couldn't even believe how bad that movie was. Like I don't even have anything to say. Like at least I could go off on a rant about The Strangers Chapter 1. I can't even go off on a rant about Afraid. It's just nothing. It's just bad. I don't know if I should. Something in my heart is telling me to move it down. I don't know if I don't know if I'm gonna stick with that or not, but something in my heart told me to do that. Okay, Slay. So This is a Tubi movie. It's about some drag queens that fight vampires. Oh, the fucking thing turned back on. Ugh. I'm just ignoring it. If you, I'm sorry if you hear like my furnace in the background. This is a disaster. Anyway, so yeah, Slay's about some drag queens that fight vampires. Um, I'm sorry. Let me get rid of that. It was all right. I actually liked it. It was like I don't. It wasn't like a crazy like great movie or anything like that, but it was. I thought it was actually very sweet. Like it was a sweet movie. Like it was actually kind of wholesome, all considering. Like there's like this guy that like he owns like this like bar out in the middle of I don't know like the rural South, and he books the drag queens, but he's acts like it was a mix up that they got booked there, but like he secretly wants to be a drag queen, and then they like turned him into a drag queen. I thought it was very sweet. Um, even like the ending isn't like, even though a bunch of people get like bit and turned into vampires, like this totally was fine. Like they like they were just like, yeah, like if you're a good person then you're just a nice vampire, and it's like I don't know, maybe that took away some of the stakes, but I just was kind of like, oh, it's kind of nice to have a wholesome vampire movie. I don't know. It's just I will say that there was a little bit of extra something going on in this movie. Like they were kind of like there was a comparison to like vampires being predators on the way that people perceive drag queens. Like one of the vampires is about to bite someone and he comes up behind him while the guy's on the urinal, and the way that they framed it kind of looked like he was about to like do something inappropriate to him, and I just kind of had this moment of like, oh, okay, we're comparing vampires to like, yeah, okay, I see that. I thought it was kind of cool. Like, do you know what I'm trying to say? I don't feel like I'm explaining it correctly. Like, like they weren't saying that the drag queens were predators. It was a comparison of the way people viewed them. Like they were more threatened by like the vampire. Sorry, they were more threatened by like the drag queens than they were like. Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was interesting. That's all. And it, like I said, it was ultimately pretty cute. So, I no, I don't think it should go above Furiosa. There we go. I guess that's probably good. Um, okay, so The Wasp. The Wasp is one of those indie movies that like only I watched. It is based off of a British play, and I legitimately really enjoyed it. It was basically just two people talking. Like it's based off of a play. Like that's basically what it was. I'm assuming. I tried to find footage of it as a play, and I couldn't really find anything. But yeah, what I'm assuming that the play was it was just two people having a conversation. There was a little bit more that I think was probably added for the movie. Like there was a whole part where she smashed open the ceiling and a bunch of wasps came out. I'm not sure if you could do that in a play, maybe. But yeah, like 90% of the movie was just two people having a conversation. But it was like a really good conversation. I was on the edge of my seat the entire time. I couldn't believe how fast that movie went. Like genuinely. I was like, holy shit, like there's like when it ended, I was like, no way it's been 90 minutes. Like there has like no way. But like it just flew by. It was so good. I highly recommend it. It's genuinely just like a really good movie. Um okay, so I think maybe there. Did I like it more than Long Legs? I think I might have liked it more than Long Legs. I think. Maybe. Yeah, sure. It's kind of hard because they're like two entirely different movies, but yeah. Okay. The front room. The front room is really disgusting. There was a lot of piss. There was a lot of shit. A lot of human shit. Um, I I believe it got pulled out of theaters like really quick. Like, I know Possessed by Horror made a video where she was like, "Yeah, I went to like my screening of it, and like I found out that like they just took it out of theaters and they replaced it with Beetlejuice. Like they just didn't have it in theaters anymore." And I saw it opening night because that's what I do. I go to the movies on Fridays, and that happened to come out, and it was I did not like it at all. It not only did it have a lot of like bodily fluids, but it was like I it just felt like it ended. Like it felt like it was building up to something. And that at least kind of intrigued me because I was like, okay, like this was kind of shitty, but like obviously something's going on, and I at least want to know what it is. And then it just like ended. Hey, stop, Opal, stop it! It just kind of ended, and yeah, that was it. There was good direction. I noticed that there was a lot of reflections, like a lot of shots that were like based on reflections, like there was a whole conversation that like they filmed it like instead of filming the direct conversation, they were filming like a plate behind them that had like the reflection of them talking on it. Oh, so cute. She's so being so clingy. But yeah, like it just wasn't a good movie. You know what? There we go. Finally putting a little bit of distance between these two movies. It was bad. I did not like it. I also did not like Beetlejuice. I say this as somebody that I like the first Beetlejuice movie, but like I don't love it. I don't love it in the same way a lot of other people do. I don't think I was ever really that charmed by the character of Beetlejuice. I thought he was a weird pervert. That's not even really taking into account the fact that he was trying to marry a 15-year-old, although that is a big part of it. But like he was just constantly like looking up characters' dresses and like kissing Barbara like without her consent. And like I think I watched it when I was like 15 or 16 years old, and I just did not enjoy that aspect of it. I liked the main couple, and I liked their relationship with Lydia, and I never watched the cartoon because when I saw that it was like Lydia and Beetlejuice were friends, I just thought that was so weird, and I didn't like it. So I knew that obviously the couple wasn't going to be in this movie because they're ghosts, so they're not supposed to age, and they obviously, like, you know, it's impossible to put them in the movie. Like, that's just not possible. You know, unless they wanted to do some weird deep fake shit like they did with Alien Romulus, and I would not have been cool with that at all. I know that the guy that played Charles, I believe, is a sexual predator. I don't know the details, but I know that's why he's not in the movie. They spent a lot of time with his character nonetheless, and I believe they even put like a picture of him like on the grave, which was unnecessary. Like I was totally expecting them to just like not have his face in there at all, but they went out of their way to do that. But like I don't know, like I really am not that invested in the dad character anyways. Like whatever, it's just I thought that was odd. I just like didn't get on. I just like didn't really enjoy it. I don't know. It's just I have like the same complaints that a lot of people did. It just felt cluttered. It felt like there weren't. It felt like they weren't like focusing on like anything in particular. It was a lot of jumping around. I don't understand why Astrid's dad was like working as a service guy. Like I was expecting an explanation for that. They were just kind of like, yeah, no, I'm just doing this now. Like it's like a part of the conflict in the movie was the fact that like he wasn't appearing as a ghost, so it just seemed kind of weird that they like kind of hand waved that away. I don't know. Like, it just wasn't really something I particularly enjoyed. Like, I just didn't like it. Um, I'd also like to take into account the Beetlejuice slushy the Beetlejuice slushy flavor that they came out with. This was the first time I bought a concession in like 6 months. I thought it would be fun. It was green, and I actually really love green apple flavor. I think it's very underrated, and it was one of the most disgusting slushies I've ever had in my entire life. I really like slushies too. It was that was a massive. I probably spent like $10 on that thing. It was not green apple. It was like caramel apple, and it didn't taste like caramel apple. It tasted like bad coffee. Like, it was disgusting. I am. I know it's not fair to blame the movie for that, but just the betrayal. I need you to understand. I felt so betrayed. Anyways, so I know this is gonna go in deep. Was it better than the front room? Yeah. I don't know if this is a controversial opinion. I just did not like this movie. I'm trying really hard to ignore Opal. She's digging around in something back there. Oh my god, okay. Speaking of movies I don't like, oh no. I've been doing this too long. I can spend hours. Okay. I know everybody liked this movie. I know everybody liked Speak No Evil. I know they did. I hated it. Like, actual hatred. I just ugh. I do not have the energy for this right now. Okay, here's the thing. This is a remake, okay? This is a remake of a movie from 2022. That, yes, it is a Danish movie, but it's mostly in English. It's like 90% in English. It is that movie, the 2022 movie, is one of the most like frustrating movies I've ever seen in my entire life. It is genuinely the most angry I've ever been watching a movie. It is so fucking it is I've never had to take a break watching a movie before. Like, I've never had to be like, okay, I actually have to pause this and walk away for a minute. But I did, because it pissed me off so badly. I stopped the movie, I went downstairs, I got some ice cream, I ate the ice cream, and I turned the movie back on. And I was still, like, stopping it, like, every 5 minutes to just, like, yell at the screen because of how stupid the characters were. But you know what? Like, that was on purpose. The entire point of that movie is to be pissed at the characters because they're doing the wrong thing. That was the intended emotion. I've never had a movie make me feel like that before. And, like, I mean that as, like, a high compliment. Like, I think that movie is brilliant. And so, finding out that they were remaking it, and it was Blumhouse that was remaking it, and it was, like, an American remake. And Americans very, very famously did not enjoy the first one. I did, because I understood that I was supposed to be feeling like that. Like, that was the point of the movie, was that the characters were doing the wrong thing, and you were supposed to think that they were idiots. But people just... I saw people complaining about that movie all the time. And I just, like, really, really was... I don't know. It's just, I was like... There's no way that they're going to do the original justice. There's no way. Like the original Speak No Evil from 2022 is famously one of the most bleak movies ever. It is extremely bleak. Like, I like fucked up movies, but that was a lot even for me. it was so fucked up. And I was genuinely like, there's no way that an American remake is going to keep it. It's not going to keep the ending. It's not going to keep the fucked up ending. But then I heard that James Watkins, I believe is his name, was the one directing it, and he made Eden Lake, which is another really infamously bleak movie. Like, Eden Lake is like kind of like a sibling to the original Speak No Evil. Not that like their creations lined up or anything like that. Like, they're not really similar movies in that regard, but it's just how bleak they are and how like upsetting the ending is. Like, they don't have happy endings. They have really dark, upsetting endings. So I was kind of thinking, well, if anyone's going to do it justice, if anyone's going to remake the original Speak No Evil and do it justice and do it correctly and perhaps make it as dark as the original was, it's going to be him. But it's not. It's they took away, in my opinion, like everything that made the original special. I could just like sit here and rant about it, but I was so angry. I feel like maybe the best comparison I have to it is that, you know, I know people who are sad that they can't watch the Terrifier movies because they will see Art on TikTok. They'll see Art the Clown, like, doing his goofy shit on TikTok, and they think that he's, like, a really fun character. But they also know that the Terrifier movies are just so, like, dark and fucked up that that's not ever something that they can handle. So, what if they, like, remade Terrifier and they took out all the violence, and instead of like Art cutting Dawn in half with a hacksaw, like Tara manages to escape from her chair and cut Dawn down, and then Victoria drives up in her car and they hop in the car and they drive away, and that's the whole movie. Like, that would suck. Like, what would even be the point of that? But a huge reason that people like the Terrifier movies is because of how gross and fucked up they are. You shouldn't be catering, like, you know, like, you shouldn't be taking something that is a genuine piece of art. Like, I consider the original Speak No Evil 2022, I consider that to be, like, a genuine piece of art, because it was made specifically sort of about a, like, what the director considered a problem in, like, where he was from, that people were too polite, that people would just let people walk all over them. And he wanted to make a movie of that went to the extreme of, like, this is what happens when you're too polite. Like, you're going to, like, you know, like, you could end up in, like, some really bad situations. It's an exaggeration, sure, but it's a cautionary tale. I don't really, and I kind of see that as, like, interesting and sort of, like, it's saying something, you know? I don't think the new one is saying anything. What it's saying is that we want as many people to watch it as possible, so we're going to get rid of all of the stuff that made the original special, and I just hate that. It pisses me off. I just am never going to be on board with it, and I don't agree with the people that say it's nice that there is a version for people who don't like stuff that's so bleak. There are thousands of movies that aren't bleak. Why are we watering down the few movies that actually go there to cater to people that don't like that? Like, people who like dark stuff should get their dark stuff. I don't know. Like, it's totally fine if you don't ever want to watch the original. I don't have an issue with that. But I don't see the point in taking something that's purposely meant to be dark in order to get across a message, and then you just get rid of that. Like, I remember seeing people say, like, wow, like, this movie would have worked a lot better, talking about the remake, say, like, wow, this movie would have worked a lot better and would have got the message across if the family died. It's like, well, guess what happened in the original? yeah, that was the point. The the message of the movie is don't be a doormat. Don't let people walk all over you. If you feel uncomfortable, it's okay to be rude. It's okay to be like it's okay to stand up for yourself even if you look like the asshole in that situation. Cuz sometimes you have to. I just yeah, it pissed me off. I don't like it. I like I considered making a video about this, but then I was like it's just going to be probably like 2 hours of me being angry. And like I don't want that. I know that's kind of what the Cats video was too, but I feel like this is different. Like I feel like at least with the Cats video, there was a huge portion of it where I was like complimenting the musical. And this one, I think it would just be me being pissy the whole time. So yeah, I don't think that's ever gonna happen. But I'm gonna put it in F. Like I know that's controversial, but like I don't see it as anything that's like like worth it. Like I don't think it should have been made. I don't know. I said probably the most controversial thing I'm gonna do here is put it in F, but like I'm gonna be fair, at least do a high F because it's well made. The acting is good. It looks good. I don't know though. Like some part of me wants to put it lower though. Some part of me wants to put it a lot lower. But also, God, I don't think it deserves to be under Night Swim. We're just gonna leave it there, I guess. But on a more positive note, I really love The Substance. I really did. The Substance is, I don't have enough words of praise for The Substance. If you've never seen it, you really have to see it. Oh my god, it's so good. I saw somebody online say it's like if a trauma movie got a big budget. And like I totally get what they're coming from because like the last 20 minutes or so is just some of the craziest shit I've ever seen. Oh my god, I could talk about how much I fucking love this movie forever. I I I I don't know what's going on with the Oscars. With like the LA fires and all that. I don't even know where they hold the Oscars. I just assume that it's in Los Angeles. But in any case, I'm sure they're gonna get postponed, even if they don't take place in in Los Angeles. Yeah, you got a lot of celebrities losing their houses right now. But I'm a very big fangirl of this movie, and I really really wanted to win an Oscar. I cried when Demi Moore got the Golden Globe for it. It's just so good. It's an angry movie, but it's also like a fun movie. I've kind of described it as like gory Barbie movie. It's just God, I don't know. I need to try and get through this a little bit faster. Oh, I might have to stop at some point. Um it's getting late. I got work in the morning. I probably should have started this earlier, but I live with other people and I I was waiting for them to like go upstairs and get situated because I didn't want to annoy them with me talking and I didn't want them like doing stuff, making noise in the background and but yeah, it's getting late. But no, I do want to say just for the record, The Substance is, I think, my number one movie of the year. Like, I just really, really love this movie. And it actually might have, I go back and forth on this, but it might have beaten Terrifier 2 as being my favorite movie of all time. It depends on the day. But but they both hit me in like a very personal way. Like Terrifier 2 reminds me of my family after my dad died, but the substance reminds me of like most of the women in my life. It makes me think of my sisters. It makes me think of my mom. It makes me think of me some days. And it's kind of made my life better in some ways because it was a very stark reminder of like you need to take care of yourself and like there's literally no use in beating yourself up because you're just hurting yourself more when you do that. You're not helping anything because like basically the entire plot of that movie is a woman beating herself up for stuff that she can't control. She can't control that she's getting older, and it's like I'm not the only person to say this, but for all the gore and blood and like body horror and everything in this movie, the most distressing part, like the part that made me the most upset, was when Demi Moore is getting ready for a date and she keeps looking at her reflection and she keeps looking at pictures of her, what is essentially her younger self, and she just becomes so insecure. She's ripping at her face. She's taking the makeup off. She's putting more makeup on. She's trying to cover up her neck with a scarf, and then she just ghosts the guy because she can't deal with it. It's so sad. Like I had my face in my hands for that scene, and I was just going, no, stop, please stop, please stop. It was just very, very sad. And I really hope if the Oscars, happen, I really, really hope she's at least nominated. It would be really nice to have like a horror movie win an Oscar. I don't think that's happened since Get Out. I think that might have won for best screenplay, if I remember correctly. But yeah, it's just I just really love this movie, and it's going straight up into hang on, it's going straight up into S. I feel like I can fly through some of these kind of quick. Okay, because Never Let Go, I barely remember at all. I'm sorry to say, I barely remember that movie. Something about, like, the mom thinks that there's, like, a monster and it's gonna kill them, but she's the only one that can see it, so one of the sons believes her and one of the sons doesn't. And then it's, like, a whole thing. I remember they were playing the Big Rock Candy Mountain, and that was, like, the first time that I've heard that song as an adult, because my mom used to buy, like, the We Sing VHS tapes, and boy, they changed the hell out of those lyrics to make them kid-friendly. It was really weird growing up on We Sing, honestly. I don't really remember this one. I think I'm gonna put it, like, here. I think that's a good spot for it. The Shade. So The Shade, I did not like this movie. This is like a very small indie movie, and I don't want to shit on it too badly, but I really did not get anything out of it. I'm sorry. I was bored during most of it. At one point, I actually was sitting there, and I'm like, well, it has to be wrapping up. It's definitely been over an hour and a half. Like, how long is this movie? And, like, so I opened up the AMC app. There was, like, no one in the theater before you, like, I don't touch my phone if there's ever people in the theater, but I was like the only one there, and I opened up the AMC app and I checked and it said it was over 2 hours, and I like felt my soul leave my body. I was just so I just was genuinely bored. I'm sorry. I think the movie is about like men's mental health, and I've seen some people online say that they like it, so maybe it's for you. It was not for me. I'm sorry to say. I do see what people mean when they say it's about men's mental health. I do understand that, like, that is a good read on it. You got like the older brother trying to like protect the younger brother because all the men in the family keep like taking their own lives. Like, I see it. I don't know. It did not have to be as long as it did. Maybe if it was genuinely, this is gonna sound shitty, but maybe if they cut out like 40 minutes, like, maybe if they cut out 40 minutes, maybe I would have liked it. But as it was, I was just so bored during the whole thing. And that's most of what I remember is just sitting there wishing that it was over. So I'm sorry. Um, I'm gonna. I'm trying to think if I should put it above or below Trap. I really did not like Trap. I was also sitting there wishing that Trap was over. So you know what? I guess this is fine. My old ass. I liked this movie a lot. It was it was a lot. It was actually a lot more sad than I was expecting. I remember there was like a bunch of women sitting behind me, and they were like loudly sobbing at the end. It was kind of, and you know what? I can't even blame them for it. I definitely cried too. It was good. It was just a sweet movie, and it had a very very bittersweet ending. I do want to put it in A. Where am I gonna put it? Yeah, you know what? We're gonna put it above Blink Twice because my old ass had a good ending. My Blink Twice did not have a good ending, so we're putting my old ass above it. What is this? Azrael. Okay. This is gonna sound funny because I really love In a Violent Nature, but I genuinely had such a hard time with this movie because I don't know, it just didn't have any dialogue, and sometimes I have a hard time watching stuff if it's mostly silent. And like, what the hell? Like, I'm trying to think of examples. Like the BoJack Horseman episode where he's underwater. I have so like I just can't do it. Like in a Violent Nature doesn't have a lot of dialogue either, but I feel like there's enough that at least like that like my brain doesn't turn off. Azrael, my brain definitely turned off a couple times, but I mean I did like it. It's just it's just there definitely were long spaces where I kind of blacked out a little bit because my brain just turned off during it. Yeah, that might be good. Cause there was like a definite story there, and like I enjoyed the story, and I actually really liked the part where she got picked up on the side of the road by like a guy who he's the only person in the movie that speaks, I believe, but like he doesn't speak English, so they can't communicate with each other because she can't talk at all and he can't speak English. But like they were still kind of vibing with each other. I liked that part, and I believe she was like prophesized to like cause the apocalypse or something, and then like there was the baby that was the Antichrist. There's a story, and it's a good story. It's just yeah, my definitely went into a coma a couple times while I was watching it. I might have to call it. I tried. I knew this was gonna happen too because I just can't shut the hell up. There's so many left. 34 left? Oh my god, okay. Damn, I didn't even get to Terrifier 3. I was like, oh, well, maybe I could get at least to that. Cause it's almost midnight already. I got work in the morning. I might try to pick this up later. I don't know exactly when. Like, I'm going to the gym now, so it's not like it's not like I'm gonna be home right after work. I could be there for a while, but but there's no way. There's no way. Like, some of these I have a lot to say about. Like, I got a whole backstory for Time Cut. Okay. Yeah, I might have to call it. I hate doing that. This feels so unsatisfying. Well, I'm sorry. We can at least look at our progress. Like, I do want to walk away from this whenever I do finish it with like having a definitive top 10 and having a definitive bottom 10. And I mean, I guess we're getting there. Top 10 right now would be The Substance, Fresh Kills, and a Violet. So there's like, I got like a top 5 up here. And then one. So that would be. I'm a little surprised that Cuckoo's actually made it into the top 10. Actually, I'm surprised Thelma did. But I still have a lot to go. Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. I'm stupid. This is the, yeah. This is where it is. So 1, 2, 3. Okay. I saw the TV Glow probably should be in the top 10. Little surprised Longlegs made it there, but I mean, well deserved. I liked Longlegs a lot. But that also might change them, because, oh my god. I'm just, like, looking. I just don't want to turn it off. That's the thing, is I feel so, like, weird, because I just don't know the next time I'm gonna be able to stream. Ugh, I'm sorry. I tried. Next time I do something like this, I'm gonna have to set aside, like, a whole day, because I just talk so goddamn much. Alright, well, I gotta go to bed in like 10 minutes. Well, thank you everybody for watching. I got more people, I think, watching than I was expecting, so that's exciting. I hope you all had a good new year, and I hope you join me in the future when and slash if I pick this up again. I'd really hope to. I just, my next day off, I'm actually busy, so I don't even know the next time I'm going to be able to do this. But I should be done by, like, nighttime, what I'm doing, so. Yeah, sorry. I can't. I have to go to bed. Okay, well, good night, everybody. Thank you for watching. I will try to finish this later. I'm sorry. I don't know when. I feel so bad. Alright. Good night.